What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show on the Lapeef Network. It is Monday, May 1st, 2023. Hope y'all had a great weekend, man. I sure did. Tell me about it, man. What did y'all get into? It was a lovely weekend out here in Houston, man. I got to tell y'all. How y'all doing anyway? Welcome again. Tell me about the weather y'all had, the experiences that y'all had. One of the biggest flops of the weekend for me is that y'all know I'm from VA, so y'all know what went down in Virginia Beach this weekend. And I was just sad I wasn't at the crib, man. Damn. So for those of y'all that don't know, I am from Virginia. They had something in the water this weekend. That's a festival hosted by Virginia Beach own, right? Virginia Beach's own Pharrell Williams. All right. So that went down this weekend and it looked lit. Boy, the area of Virginia I'm from is very black. It's very niggly. All right. And people were acting like all the acts that were coming were supposed to be rap acts and like people that all black people want to see. But Pharrell Williams, if you've known him, this guy, he has a wide range. He can make all types of music. That's what he's known for. You know, even before he was famous, he was a band dude, you know, for his production. So he puts together an experience. I haven't even been yet. I've lived in Houston almost 10 years this August. So I haven't even been, but I've looked at the layout, you know, of the artists every single time. And I'm like, oh, this dude is trying to bring out Coachella vibes to Virginia Beach. Virginia, we don't do nothing out there. That experience is probably the biggest experience some Virginians have ever had, the greatest experience, you know, in music that will ever happen to that area, guaranteed. It's the greatest one that will ever happen. All right. Our area gets looked over for the biggest concerts all the time. All right. Sports teams look our area over. That's how little they think of our economic impact on anything. So he brought a bomb show to that area. And everybody that was talking trash beforehand, all right, they loved it. Damn, I wish I was at the crib, man. Wheezy. Yeah, and then look, some people were taking Instagram stories of Wheezy doing mixtape stuff. That one killed me because I was just like, oh, I'd love to be there for that. I got to see Wheezy. The last time I seen Wheezy was at Louisiana Fest in New Orleans. maybe 2015, the worst Airbnb ever. The worst Airbnb experience. We had to go to a hotel. Luckily, they weren't all booked up. Like, you know how roaches are supposed to come out. Roaches are supposed to come out in the dark. They're supposed to go to the kitchen. These roaches were climbing up the wall by the bed. We were like, oh no, oh no, out of there. Keep the money. We don't even want the money back. Ladies like, did y'all enjoy your stay? We didn't even bother responding. Out of there. We went to some little Art Deco boutique hotel thing in the French Quarter, one of those nice ones. If y'all ever been to New Orleans, put a one in the chat. Beautiful place, but it got a lot of history and a lot of stories. The place we stayed used to be a brothel. If y'all don't know what that is, it's a whole house. And so I was hoping those spirits will come upon me in my sleep. But New Orleans is a beautiful place, man. That was the last time I seen Weezy. Because listen, mixtape Weezy, I don't think he's been matched to date. Mixtape Weezy has not been matched. Nobody's matched that energy yet in rap. Just raw rap appeal, bar for bar. All right, so Jill, it wasn't me. Oh, I had a great time in New Orleans, yes, but I didn't go to something in the water this weekend in Virginia Beach. That sounded so dope. Let me tell you, I was living through all my homies back home, living through their experience on Instagram. Everybody came out too. I'm gonna make it my business to go next year. My kids are getting older now. I don't feel as guilty leaving them. you know, they don't misbehave for me necessarily, but boy, they're young. So, I feel like I should be helping their mom with them. But we have family that it seems as kids get older, people are more willing to babysit. Now it's like of course, rather before it was like they had something to do. Nobody want to take care of two little toddlers. They'll disappear on you quick. But next year, I'll fly my mama out here to help my wife while I go enjoy myself out there in Virginia Beach. I would say we'll all go out there, but that never ends up going the way you think it's gonna go. My wife get tired of all things really fast. So if you take her to a concert and you expect to stay the whole 5 hours, she gonna start giving you the I want to leave face in 2 hours. I ain't with that. Nope. Nope. I don't want to be pissed off like that ever again. I know places to take her, and I know when to take her, and I know when to be like, I'm just gonna go. Because I want to be out there the whole time. Some of y'all got wives or girlfriends like that too. They give you the face like I'm ready to go. No, no, thank you. No, thank you. But greetings and thanks once again to everybody that came through to the Trigger Mike show today. We got one hell of a topic for you. Did y'all see the NFL draft? Did you get your draft picks? Because my team won the draft. My team won the draft. My team won the draft. I just got to say it. We won. The Houston Texans won the draft. All right. So salute to all the viewers nationwide and international, up north, down south, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, Southwest. What's up? Trigger Mike salute you and thank you for coming here on this Monday morning. I know it could be the Mondayest of Mondays sometimes, but I appreciate your patronage nonetheless. Like, subscribe, and share this out to people to let them know this is what you're watching. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, so make sure you share this out and let them know the Lapeef Network is the greatest network on YouTube. We'd appreciate that. Hit that like button if you have already for the YouTube algorithm. I would really appreciate it if you do that. Shout out to the sponsor, Tiege Hanley, as well. And if you would like to support the show, I see some of you have already done it. If you would like to sponsor this show, all right, we need sponsors for the show. So if you'd like to sponsor this show, please do so by the form of super chat or super thanks or a super sticker. All right, we will read all super chats aloud on this show, and I appreciate your support. Who do I have in the chat today? Coming out bright and early and faithful, Mr. Checkmate, what's going on? Rose Devereaux, how you doing? G Mac, how you doing? Willie Walker, thank you for coming through. And those are true words spoken. SG, what's going on? Troy Bailey, what's up? What's up? Brandon E, what's up? Troy Bradley, what's going on? Big ups to my man Quincy. My man AP Charlotte checking in. 455 bench presser, my man from Suffolk. Let us know in the chat. Did you go to something in the water? What is it called? SITW. Sit W. Sit dub. That's what we call it. That's what I'm gonna call it anyway. Miss Jill's Chocolate Boutique. Hey, E Chanel, how you doing? All right, Derek T. Yeah, I said it. That was one of the words I used. Uh, Kenny, what's going on? AI Matrix, what's up? King Sir the Boss, what's going on? Missy T, how you doing? LJ, how you doing? Ed Hill, what's up? Asia Monet, what's up? And Zombie Working, what's going on? What's going on? Thank y'all for coming through to the Trigger Mike Show today, man. One hell of a topic. I'm gonna drop the link early. I got a little bit of a monologue, so I'm gonna leave you in the back for like 10 minutes. But y'all come up and chop it up with me if you got anything on this specific topic. And because we talked about the NFL draft, you already know where I'm gonna go with this. You already know where I'm going with this. You know how we arrived here today. You know how we got on this topic. All right. So come up and chop it up with me. The link is in the chat. Um, my man EBD says, I wish I could have come up on that panel you were on with those women the other night. Let me know, bro. Let me know. Yeah, you definitely yeah, you're definitely sanctioned for that conversation, bro. That she don't like everybody, but she'll like you. Let me know when you're available. I'll bring you up, bro. No doubt, no doubt. Or it's not my show. Let me say that. But Shan has already said I could bring people up if I want to. And I nominate thee as tribute. Wait, that was the wrong sign. Oops. I nominate EBD as tribute. All right. All right, let's get into it, man. What do y'all think? We talking about the NFL draft. It has concluded. And as I have said, my Houston Texans won the NFL draft. We got CJ Stroud. From Ohio State. We also got Will Anderson. We got number 2 and 3. They trying to bring back that I ain't gonna say his whole name. I don't want to ding the algorithm. You know how this stuff is sensitive. They trying to bring back that Watson and JJ Watt type energy to the Houston Texans. That's what I'm talking about. They trying to bring that type energy back. Offense and defense. Somebody to run it on both ends. Top prospects. I think defensive prospects end up usually doing better than these offensive prospects we be making all this fuss about. So I'm actually glad they got a defensive prospect like that. I'm actually glad they did that. They won the draft for that. But yeah, we probably gonna be something to see this year. No, man. No, man. Eagles got better though. Listen, my brother is an Eagles fan. We from VA, we ain't got no teams. So he's a diehard Eagles fan. Right? Usually, if you from VA, people go to the Redskins. Somehow, when you ain't got no team, everybody ends up a Cowboys fan, right? Especially if you a millennial, because most of your favorite players ended up filtering through at one point in their career the Cowboys. So I think that's how. Don't get me wrong. I think that's how everybody ended up a Cowboys fan. Deion Sanders was a Cowboy at one point. Michael Irving, Emmitt Smith, Troy A. All these people that you like at some point ended up being Cowboys fans. But yeah, or the Eagles. So, up north teams. But nope, I moved to Houston. I've been here. I live here. I own property here. Therefore, I am now a Houston Texans fan. Fully adopted it. I've bought jerseys. I'm a Houston Astros fan. I'm a Houston Rockets fan. As you can clearly see from the paraphernalia I wear all the time. But yeah, the reason I brought this up, so we don't have to go too far off topic, I brought this up because a lot of these young dudes, and congratulate these men, man. Congratulate these young men on their achievements on getting drafted, even though only one HBCU player got drafted. And I want to know, did y'all see Deion Sanders' response to that? This is what I was talking about when everybody was responding to my video saying that, nah, leave Deion Sanders. I was like, leave Deion Sanders alone. Leave Deion Sanders alone. He got the right to do what he want to do. But then he wants to make a statement saying he doesn't like, or whatever he had said, that he's appalled that they only drafted one HBCU player. I think the player was from Jackson State. That was your calling, bro. Deion Sanders, that was your calling. You were meant to fix this, and you bailed. I know y'all still have feelings about that. You were meant to fix that. You were the bridge. You were meant to be the bridge so that could stop happening. So you could bring experience or bring notoriety and attention to the HBCU players. Push them. Use your contacts to push them into pro days. And you missed your calling, bro. You left. I understand what people got to say. Hey, Jackson State's not safe. This, that, and the third. Go read the Bible or something. Nothing worth doing or what somebody has been called to do is easy. None of it is easy. Just say, I don't want to sacrifice. I'm going to go to these white people. It's easier out there. That's what you did. You said burden to fix the issue. This is not, Mr. Rich, this is not my opinion. He spoke on it. He said he is appalled that only one HBCU player got drafted. Why are you appalled? It was his calling. Clearly, clear as day. He brought all that attention to that school when he was there, and HBCUs in general. HBCUs had more games on ESPN. People were talking about and hashtagging Jackson State, bringing attention to the HBCU platform. Therefore, it will bring attention to the players. And even the players that aren't getting attention will get pushed into pro days by these coaches. So they can get, it's the same as walking on. Except now you in there with the big dudes, playing with the big dudes, running like the big dudes, sticking the big dudes in practice. Pause. So people can see it. The scouts can see it. That's what he was called to do. And he missed his calling. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I mean, we hear it all the time. Money is what's going to get you. Money is what's going to get you. But let's get back on topic, man. The NFL draft has just concluded. A lot of these players landed in some excellent spots. This is the first time, I think, 4 black quarterbacks went in the top 12 of the draft. Top 10 and top 12. That is legendary. That is legendary. That is legendary. I salute it. This is obviously the future. All right? This is obviously the future. If black quarterbacks can learn how to stay in the damn pocket, they are the future of quarterbacking. Your gift is that you can run. Don't mean you should every damn play. All right? Also, shout out to Lamar Jackson. Shout out to Lamar Jackson. I do have an opinion on that, but shout out to Lamar Jackson for becoming the highest paid player in terms of salary expected in the National Football League. Shout out to him. I hope he listen, I'm gonna have to slide this one in there. I hope he does get an agent, y'all, because I hope he does get an agent now. And I hope they work something out. Let me explain this before I forget and I go off on a tangent. We should not expect this to happen repeatedly, and we should not expect all players, not even all players, players who ain't really doing nothing. Yeah, they should represent themselves. Maybe some of them should, but all top players cannot represent themselves. And as somebody who's went to school, I need to tell y'all, as somebody who deems himself to be an intelligent person, I need to tell y'all something. All players should not represent themselves simply because your salary, the only salary you receive, should not be from the NFL. One thing that agents do also, now we could talk about getting an African-American agent. We could talk about keeping the money in your family. We could talk about finding somebody who went to school for marketing and or advertising or business in general at a high level, not a bullshit business degree, but a high level business person that knows how to seek opportunities, take meetings with top companies, and act as an actual rep for you. Yeah, that person can come from your family. But the reason most of these people need an agent is because the NFL should not be your only salary. In fact, it should be the salary you keep and not spend. Your agent is meant to go seek deals from you from Pepsi, from Coke, from Dave and Buster's. That's what they're doing while you're playing football. So if you see the endorsement, if you don't see any endorsements other than the ones that come to him personally, it's because, they won't take his call or they won't take him seriously without an agent. So that's what I really hope doesn't happen, but for him anyway. I hope that doesn't happen for him and he has people in his family working on his behalf in that regard. But if, like, most players cannot do that, they will seriously miss out on endorsement money. These agents develop relationships with companies that want to endorse players. So if they're going to keep their jobs alive, they will make sure those companies isolate players without agents. That's how the game works, y'all. The game isn't to completely isolate agents out of sports. It's to make sure the people you want to be your agent. If you want more people that look like you being an agent, do that. These people have to be astute. They have to be, well informed. They have to have the business acumen to pull it off. But don't ever say that all players should represent themselves. That would be unintelligent. That extremely unintelligent. Agents do more than just talk to the team. At least they should. So make sure, but shout out to Lamar Jackson for getting that money. Shout out to him for that. All right, y'all, listen up. The title of today's show, the topic for today is, it's not your job to buy your mom a house. If you believe that, and if you subscribe to what I just said, put a 1 in the chat. It's not your job to buy your mom a house. These young players, you got the NFL draft that just happened. You got the NBA draft coming up in a few months, the MLB draft, the NHL draft, MLS draft. All of these sports people are about to get signing bonuses. And if they are black players, a majority of them are coming from single mother led homes. But I have to tell these players, it is not your job to buy your mom a house. This is where we tell you that. I saw a few of you tweeting it. I saw a few of you tweeting that. There is no financial advisor worth their certification that will tell you that purchasing a home for your mother is a good investment. Some will tell you maybe there's a way to get it done, but purchasing something that's not going to build you revenue while it's taking revenue out your pocket is ridiculous. When your new money, that's the worst part of it. Your new money trying to take on these expenses. It's not appropriate. It's not what's right. Not only should black players especially completely eradicate this style of thinking. Completely eradicate this style of thinking. The mother should stop expecting it. Moms, listen up. Single moms especially. This is not a moment to disparage you. This is a moment to give some education. Your son is not an insurance policy. I've actually heard with my own 2 ears, mothers say this out of their mouth. I'm going to be good. My son is going to take care of me. People who frequent these YouTube streets, what do we call these men who really want to take care of their moms? And the mom thinks the son is supposed to take care of them. What do we call these men? There's a name for them out here in these YouTube streets. I'm going to let y'all put that in the chat. Give me a second while I turn on this damn fan. It's hot as hell in here. That Houston heat is kicking in. All right. Son husbands. Son husband. There y'all go. Son husbands. Leave that boy alone. You are not his job, nor his responsibility. That was your husband's job. Let's dive deeper into this. Let's dive deeper into this. We're going to cover this from all angles. We're going to cover this from all angles. Andre Cable, let me talk to you for a second. Come to the front of the congregation. Come to the front of the congregation, my boy. It grows equity, though. The problem isn't just necessarily the house, because that is a problem. These men want to provide lifestyles for their mothers that they don't deserve. You can get your mother an apartment if you want that, because it's an expense. Let me tell you something right now. You should not buy anything for anyone that they cannot take over and maintain themselves. If you bought your mother a mansion and she ain't got no job, you're an idiot. If you bought your mother a 3,000 square foot house, but she can't maintain those bills herself, you're an idiot. I'm saying it. Doesn't matter if it accrues equity. That's not what equity is for. You are paying property taxes. You're paying mortgage. And if you paid for it outright, you are an even bigger idiot if you are new money. But we're going to get to the bottom of it today. I can substantiate everything I say. Your son is not an insurance policy. Financial advisors will not tell you to buy your mom a house. This is something only black people think they're supposed to do. But we're going to get to the bottom of it today. Don't worry. Fellas, I need to tell you something. I need to tell you something. This might even trigger some of you because y'all are mama's boys. My brother's a mama's boy. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Some of y'all might be mama's boys, but I got to tell you, your mom doesn't deserve a home. I said that. Some of you are PO'd. Some of you are pissed off about that. After I'm done with this short part of the monologue, we're going to watch a video that inspired this very topic in addition to the NFL draft. Listen, your mom, if she's a single woman, let's try to understand how she got there. Most of these moms aren't single because their husband died. Most of these moms aren't single because they took you out of an abusive situation because your daddy was a drunk. No, that's not why she was single. She did not prioritize creating a stable family environment for you because of her own selfish needs and desires. If we're going to think about this in an intelligent fashion, they are not heroes to be glorified and bought things they don't deserve. They should not be glorified as such. I understand that as a man, you have a feeling to take care of the woman that once took care of you. But we're going to explain and we're going to talk about and chop it up on the panel today about appropriate and responsible ways to do that. You do not buy your mom a house. I'm being blunt with you. She don't deserve it. That was her husband's job. That was your daddy's job. Listen, as we continue, be mindful that even though you want to take care of the woman that took care of you, you must also be mindful of the damage she did to you. If you fully understood that she did not prioritize creating a home for you, a stable home with a father that would have instilled at least half of your mental capacity, makeup, capability, fortitude, strength, and ability to procreate in the right way in the future, if she didn't prioritize that for you, creating that type of stable home for you, why would you try to recreate that by giving her a home? It doesn't make sense. She didn't create that for you. This is why some of y'all really kill me when y'all talk about marriage isn't necessary. This is what I'm talking about when I say y'all talking out of y'all neck when y'all say marriage isn't necessary. This is what lack of marriage produces. You will hear me say on this panel and other panels how women and men and their poor decisions have created an imbalance in the Black community. So much of an imbalance that you think your son is supposed to buy you a home, not your husband. He is not an insurance policy. When I was writing this, I just had a thought. I'm gonna get personal for a second. I have a brother. He's the mama's boy. I'm the eldest. He's the mama's boy. Second to youngest in the family, in our group of four. He's the mama's boy. He's already laying claim. My mom is actually living there right now while my dad's away to help him with his 6-month-old. He'll help his wife with the 6-month-old. All right. So he's like, yeah, we gonna take care of mom. We got a plan because obviously she's gonna live with one of us. She damn sure don't want to live with her daughters. But he's the mama's boy. That's the way he's always envisioned his life. But what I have to say is that guess where my mama lives? Guess what my daddy did to make sure he didn't leave the burden to his sons? Guess what my brother's father-in-law did to make sure he didn't leave the burden to anybody? He built a home for his woman and told his eldest son, me, when I die, sell this home. I'm giving you my savings. You're going to have life insurance policy bestowed upon your head. And if that's not enough, sell this home and take care of your mama. Does that not make good freaking sense? Does that not make sense to y'all? Is that not what fathers should do? I'm blessed and I'm lucky that I had a father think of these things. I'm lucky. I understand that I'm privileged in that regard. But even if you don't have that privilege, does not mean you should act any differently or have a different mindset than I have. Any man that says marriage isn't necessary, that has a mother who isn't married, I feel sorry for your ass. You gonna get this the worst. If you out here and you not married and you created illegitimate children and all this type of stuff and your mama not married, I feel sorry for your ass. The burden is going to be tenfold for you. You out here trying to live your life, make child support payments for those children you got, and your mama just comes out of the woodwork and tells you that you're obligated to pay her way through life now because she gave you life. Right at that moment, you're going to understand why marriage is necessary. Right at that moment, you're going to realize where you fucked up. Let's go to this video that inspired this because I want to make a few comments before I bring the panel up. I'm going to drop the link in the chat for those of y'all that want to come on up and chop it up. Let me bring this video up. I was watching something on O'Shea, and he brought up this clip, and it's some lady in here named Tanya TKO from Instagram. And I'm gonna go through what the guy says because the guy was speaking facts, but then she gave a response, and I'm gonna chop that up on that a little bit too. Stay tuned.
I do not want to take care of my mama. A lot of us young entrepreneurs that grew up in poverty, didn't come from shit, have this idea that when we get on, we taking care of everybody. Mama, daddy, granny, brothers, whole family, right? The problem is most of our families were actually poor due to shit that was actually in their control. Poor money management, lack of discipline, inability to create healthy boundaries, no valuable skill set, or just other bad decisions that they never spoke about. So even though it's honorable, it's noble to want to take care of our people, it's just a bullshit band-aid solution that's going to make your people dependent on you. You really want to be the big dog amongst your people? Give them the tools that you use to produce results. Give them the game, give them the knowledge, give them the mindset to create for themselves. That way, when it's time to eat, it's a potluck, not just motherfuckers eating off your plate. You feel me?
You see what I'm...
Yo, so first off, young bro was spitting bars. Young bro was spitting bars. Absolutely nothing he said was wrong. That is the makeup, the mental makeup, the mindset of every other group of people on earth. I don't have enough for you to eat off my plate. I'm going to instill and create and even sacrifice so my family has the ability to create for themselves. So now it's a potluck. I haven't heard a better metaphor all week, and probably will not hear a better metaphor all week. Listen to this lady's response to this shit. I couldn't believe it.
I'm saying? So now these black men out here talking about they don't even want to take care of their mothers. That was the whole big thing. Everybody wanted to take care of mama. Everybody wanted to buy mama a house. And now...
You see? Let's continue. Let's continue.
Now the new thing is not taking care of your mother. So the hate for women is spreading from the ground up. First they started talking about you. Now they're talking...
Fellas, do you see what just happened here? Fellas, do you see what just happened here? Do you see what just happened? Gaslighters Anonymous over here. Diet Iyanla, do you see what just happened here? She just gaslit the whole shit. Everything used the hate for women. Where the hell did you get that from? Where did you get that from? I have not heard a more eloquent description of caring for the family than that young man just gave. She disregarded all of that to make her own statement, to say this somehow translates into hate for women. Craziness. Let's get a little more
about their mamas. Next, they're going to be talking about their daughters. It's just this round and round hatred. He's talking about give them the tools. Son, your mother's old now. What are you talking about? Give her the tools so your mother's going to be out there, what, hustling? Talking about bad decisions. One of those bad decisions may have been giving birth to you. That may have been a bad decision right there. That may have been one of her bad decisions. I don't understand this. And
all right, I can't even do it. I can't even do it. That lady done pissed me off. AP, I done seen you in the back. What's going on, bro?
What's up, TM? What's good? What's good?
Yeah, I gotta take a break because that lady she done pissed me off, bro.
Oh no, man. Okay, so she's way off base, but I definitely have a dissenting opinion about the entire conversation topic. She's not the lady in the video. I don't know what the fuck. She just changed the entire narrative of what the young brother was talking about.
Let's chop it up. What are your opening thoughts and what's your dissenting opinion?
Okay, the opening thoughts are and I'm going to use me as an example, right? So my mom and dad actually got divorced. They were married before she had me. Mm-hmm. He ended up deciding to traffic narcotics, ended up going to jail. They ended up getting a divorce. So just to give you the entire context so you understand the direction I'm coming from, mm-hmm. The sacrifices, and I understand that as parents you make sacrifices, but the sacrifices a mom makes or a single parent makes in order to give their children the best possible leg to stand on as they maneuver through the childhood, all the way through middle school, all the way through high school. Because in order to get to that NFL, the MLB, that NBA level, there are camps that cost money. There are some private instruction that cost money and
Yeah.
cost time. And I understand, no, a parent should not expect it, period. However, as the child of a mom, my mom was the mom of a child athlete. So I know all the sacrifices and everything that was put in. And had I gone to the NFL, my objective would be to cover everybody that's under my umbrella, which would have included my mom. Do I think I would have necessarily bought her a house? Not 100% sure if I would or would not have, but I definitely would have moved her out of the projects. I definitely would have upped her standard of living, mainly because I fully understood what sacrifices she made. She didn't remarry, she didn't have any other kids. She chose not to even have a boy. She had one boyfriend my entire childhood. Um, and aside from him, she didn't have any boyfriends. She sacrificed in order for, it was three of us, in order for us to have the best life possible. She stayed she stayed on us when we started to venture out and do things that we should not have been doing. She tried to stay on top of us. She tried to make sure that we were always in our books and that we were where we needed to be at all times. No, do I necessarily feel like it would have been a payback? Not necessarily, but understanding where she was and to change her environment, considering she would have been under my covering, I would have definitely moved her out of the projects.
Okay.
So, like,
So
there
I don't
there
know
is
why
a
you
counter
said
argument to it.
I don't know why you said that that's a dissenting opinion. That's not unlike my opinion. I said you should not buy your mama a house.
But I
Now,
might have, and I can
I was
understand
going to
somebody
say
that would.
the one of the questions here that we're going to get chop it up with on this topic. And those of y'all, the link is in the chat. I'm gonna drop it up so more people can come up and give their opening thoughts on this. So please feel free, cam up and join the discussion if you want to. But there are responsible ways to care for your mother and irresponsible ways. Do you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah. So we haven't chopped it up about about the responsible ways to care for your mother. And I said in the monologue, I understand the desire to want to care for the woman that care for you. Nobody's speaking against that. In fact, that is what most men do. Men are far more responsible in doing that than their daughters are. That's why moms will cling to their sons 10 times over before they go ask their daughter for help. Or am I lying? So we're definitely more responsive. We're more responsible. We'll take it on our back to move them in, but there's a responsible way to go about that. Go ahead, respond.
Well, when I think of buying a house, it depends. So I'm gonna use the NFL for example because I have a pretty solid knowledge of how all of that works, right? So
Mhm.
would I do it on a rookie salary? No, I wouldn't. But let's say I'm at the level where Lamar Jackson is, where he just got paid. Would I buy her a house? Yes, probably. Mainly because I've already done things to ensure that she doesn't really have to do much for the rest of her life. Um, but no, you're absolutely spot on about the responsible ways to take care of you know your parent.
All right. So
I can agree with that.
let me respond to Anissa Glass. What's going on, Anissa? She says at Trigger Mike, what's wrong with a multimillionaire blessing their mom if they can? Stop being selfish. Uh
Oh Jesus.
God damn. God damn. I want y'all to understand something right now. We're going to break it down. By the end of the show, you will understand what's wrong with it. But I have to tell you, go look at the statistics. Most of these people aren't actually multimillionaires. A $10 million salary is actually five. Go look at the price of the first home these people buy because they've had no financial guidance. One of the biggest things that no one talks about, one of the most important things, is that where some of these players come from, you're dropping instant amount of fortune in their lap with
Mhm.
absolutely no way to handle it responsibly. Buying yourself a home needs to be done in moderation. All right. Most of these players, and I told y'all the story about Kobe and Smush Parker and Trevor Ariza, who I was talk. We were over Trevor Ariza's house. My college roommate grew up with him and went to high school with him, and he told us that one of the lower level players with a boo boo contract of less than $2 million went and bought the same like AMG something Mercedes or something like that Kobe
Jesus.
had, or Rolls Royce, something crazy. And Kobe told him how he got that car for free. He like, why the hell you trying to keep up with me? I'm the multi-hundred billionaire. But why I mean millionaire? Why are you trying to keep up with me? Right? These are the mistakes they make when you drop this money in their lap. They're not going to be millionaires for long. Most players, don't get me wrong, isn't it like 80%? Broke 5 years after they've left the league. They're broke. There's a lot wrong with doing that. But we're going to chop it up. Stay tuned and stick around. I see Mr. Rich in here. John the Baptist, come on, Cam, if you can. Ashton, come on, Cam, if you can, real quick. And we're going to chop it up about this. There's a lot wrong with it, but y'all will figure out what's wrong with it by the time we get to the end of this discussion today. All right, Ashton, I see you. John the Baptist, when you get a chance, come on, Cam, and let me read these super chats real quick, and then we're going to chop it up. Willie E, $3 super sticker. We appreciate that, sir. Thank you for coming through. Anytime you're available to come back up, please do so. We haven't seen you in a few months. Big Amp says, Trigger Mike in a brothel. I knew it. Well, I literally said, I literally said I was in one, so I can't take that back now. Mr. Rich, $10, and Lamar has become the top paid player. He has. Mr. Rich, again, this is what I shared. Today's topic is son husbands. Is it a son's job to take care of his mother as she ages after she chose not to accept a man's covering her life? I couldn't have worded it better, Mr. Rich. That is what we're discussing today. That is what we're discussing. John the Baptist, $5. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother and who are my brethren? Matthew. John, go ahead and explain that one. Explain that one to me. Opening thoughts.
No, that was Jesus.
I think you got to move your mic down, bro.
Yeah. So that was Jesus actually having a conversation with a crowd when he was giving a speech, and then someone said, "Your mother and your brother are trying to get to you," and he was like, he was making a point. Who is my mother, brother? But those who do the work of my Father. So if you're not on the same, if you're not on the same page, if you're not moving the same direction, don't expect me to move in your direction if you're not going the way I'm going. If I'm doing my Father's work and my Father's will, then my mother, my brother are those who are doing the work with me. Sometimes we as people look at our families as that they're actually going in the same direction as us. They're not actually going in the same direction as us. And so even Jesus asked the question, who is my mother and my brother?
They just people, and I got work to do, and that work sent from the Father. I get it now. I get it now. That's what's up. Mr. Rich, opening thoughts. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree with you. I don't think a son should be obligated to buy his mother a home. If you have an agent and you have proper advisors, you don't have to leave her in the projects where people are shooting each other.
Yeah.
But she certainly don't have to have her own home. That burdens that becomes a liability. Because most people don't realize that your home that you live in is a liability in terms of the expense. These guys need to learn that. But it's almost like rewarding bad behavior. And we're looking at the top guys who can afford to buy their mother homes. But the truth of the matter is those guys are a very small percentage of son husbands. right? But the mindset is pretty much the same, just on a different scale. Because even guys who are broke and should be moving on still try to do more for their mothers who chose to be single and and fooling around, going on a carousel. They try to do stuff for them that they don't really deserve.
They don't deserve it.
So anyway, I mean, there's some discussion. There's some gray areas here and there, but I guess we'll get to it. That's it.
All right. Ashton, what's going on, Chief?
Trying to get it like you, big dog.
All right. Opening thoughts. What you got on the topic, bro?
I mean, I came from a two-parent household. Um, I think, to be honest, my mama didn't don't she won't let me buy her nothing today. Like my mama one of those mothers that it was her responsibility. She wanted to have a child. Like you get what I'm saying? She she wanted to have me. It's her responsibility. Like I could be up 10 rates. She won't let me buy her nothing. So I mean, as far as buying a house, she definitely won. So I just don't get this thinking what other parents thinking they deserve a house in this generation today. So I mean,
I agree with that, and I don't know what the percentage would look like, but even my mom wouldn't want me to buy her anything. She's passed away since, but when I started to accumulate and get a little bit, she didn't want anything, nothing. She wouldn't let me move her out closer to me. She wouldn't let me take care of her bills, and these are things that I went ahead and did behind her back, and it actually kind of
it be
pissed
bad
her
when you
off.
do it.
Yeah, it kind of pissed her off, right? So I would think that most parents or most single moms don't have that in mind. I believe that there's probably a small percentage of them, because I too, like Trigger Mike have said, have heard women say, "Yo, when my baby make it, we gonna be good." No,
Yep.
when your baby make it, he gonna be
He gonna
good,
be good.
and he can choose to bless you. But I think that's a very small
Oh, I disagree.
percentage.
I
I,
disagree with that big time.
I don't know. As a football coach that's done the same thing for about the past 11 years, 12 years now, I mean, it's a percentage of them, but I don't think it's more than 20.
I mean, okay, if you're looking in the pool that you're looking at, maybe, but the pool is much bigger than that. I just think that there's women thinking that their kids are their insurance policy, and I don't
Yep.
think that's a small number. That's
No,
a
that's not a
huge
small number.
number.
Yeah, true.
That's a huge number, and not just their sons, their daughters. I mean,
Yep.
how about these women who sabotage their kids' relationships and all
Oh
that
yeah.
because they're
I
thinking.
have seen that.
So,
I've seen that.
so the point is, in what you're saying is, let me say this to you, and I don't know, I'm not a coach. I think the kids whose parents had the wherewithal to put them in something that's that productive have a different mindset than the diaspora. They're
Mm.
not the average. I don't think they're the average bears. Those kind of women, if they don't have men or they have men, I don't think they think like the sisters out there in the community who are just looking to survive. Because it takes a certain amount of mindset that I got this boy that I can't do nothing with. I got to put him around some men and some activities. That's why I tell single women, if they got sons, you got to think about old boys high schools, stuff like that, to put them around men, make them their mindset. And every woman ain't thinking about that unless they're thinking about themselves, right? So what's best for the kid or what's best for me at the time. So I don't know. So I mean, this is just like I said. This is why we're discussing this thing.
All right. So dope
So,
opening thoughts.
Valid
oh, my
point.
bad,
Valid points.
my bad. I
Dope
thought
opening
everybody.
thoughts. So we're gonna continue the discussion. I got some questions on this because
Actually, I
yeah,
didn't
like
give
I
my opening
said in the
point.
beginning, we're not just gonna talk
I didn't
about
give my opening point.
Oh no, go ahead. Oh my bad, John. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, my opening point was this: that what you're talking about is that women live for assurance. Um, they want to know that in every stage of life, no matter what decision they make, there's going to be someone to take care of them. They want assurances of everything. So therefore, they will, if they the fight for independence from a man, they will look for assurances in other ways. So that's why they would try to have baby with these athletes or whatever case may be. It's plain because they want something that's going to guarantee them income that's going to take care of them the rest of their life, or somebody's going to take care of them, which is actually not far from biblical teaching, right? Women understood and coaches understood how important it was to have a son, because sons were trained and should be trained to take care of the women of the community, because the
Mhm.
sons grow up to be husbands and they grow up to be fathers. And so it's looked to, so when the father does pass away, uh the son is already able to carry on what the father already established. And so, but the other thing about this is that women want assurances, but men create the insurance or the provision of protection that the woman's looking for. So men don't look for the assurances. Men go out and create the assurances. We give the comfort, we give the ability to feel the woman to feel comfortable. What's happening? Why these women feel like their sons owe them a house now, or want to expect their sons to buy them a house, because they feel like, well, I can do this without a man, but I'll raise my kids to be my man.
I mean, that sounds like it. But let me get one of these out of the way so the women in the chat don't think we're just talking shit. Because I think John put it very eloquently by saying this is a systemic pattern. People have gotten this pattern down over centuries. In fact, how long since the beginning of civilization? You understand the purpose of boys and men, and women have always thrived by knowing the purpose of men and adhering to it and saying this is why we serve. So if you want to know, I feel like a lot of ladies are not willing to do their duty anymore because they think somehow they're doing more than a man, even though men have ultimate responsibility over the community itself. You are trading your service and your adherence to the ideal of service in the beginning for a lifelong amount of care. Men will band together to take care of all the women in the community. That is the protection that your service affords you. So let's bring up this next question for those of y'all that are just sticking around to hear some good stuff. What does your mother deserve for raising you? If we had to put some things out of there, what do you think she deserves for raising you? We're going to start with AP.
That's kind of loaded because I don't think she deserves a damn thing. She brought me in. Her job was to raise me or to abandon me. I mean, like those were the only two options. Which then, in turn, somebody else would have raised me, or a system would have raised me. So I don't look at it as what she necessarily deserves. I see it more like a woman that just simply falls under my covering. I wouldn't. I don't know if deserves is the right word. I, like I said earlier, the man put in the work. Like I would have been the one that put in the work. So what the hell what did she do to deserve it? Have a baby? Is that what she did? She had a kid? Are we kidding? I don't think she deserves necessarily anything, but as a man, I would feel more obligated to make sure that she was properly covered, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right, Mr. Rich.
Yeah,
What?
so the way I would look at this, right, I don't think we should use the word deserve about anything. A woman births a son, and I think anything he does for her should be voluntary, right? As he grows older into his manhood, and that voluntary nature should be based upon the things she did for him. I mean, did she do the minimum, or did she go above and beyond? Now, a guy who becomes a pro athlete, which is a very small number of men, you can measure how much sacrifice your mother put in to get you through all of that stuff. That's a measurable thing. Equipment, travel, all those kind of sacrifices, double jobs, all that stuff. So we can't discount it. It wasn't free to put you into a position to become successful. And so you got to take that into account, even though your reciprocation is voluntary. Her, if she had a husband, his protection is mandatory. Son is voluntary based on the sliding scale. And that's how I look at it. So she did the bare minimum. She should have, hey, listen, your expectations shouldn't be too much more than bare minimum. But for some of these guys who become athletes, I don't think they necessarily need to buy a house off rip. I don't agree with that. But you got to take into account what she did to get you there, because that's a measurable thing. I really do believe that. And it's a small number, but that's it for me. I'll land it
All
there.
right. His
I
ghetto
got
point
a
of view.
quick
Can you
es-
come on? Hold on, real quick. His ghetto point of view. Can you come on camera real quick, and I'll let you up. Oh, okay. He dropped.
Yeah,
All right. Who's next?
I
Go
got an
ahead.
escalation, man. I need to go right away at an accountability partner. What is he talking about? This is your mama.
So
Your mama.
Can
So,
we stay in?
like, you're not. No, no, no,
Can
no.
we stay in order before we start? Before we start with the
Go
he
ahead, man.
said nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hold
yeah.
it
So
in there. Hold it
Go
in,
ahead.
kids.
let's go
Hold
around.
it
Yeah,
in.
let's go around.
Go ahead, man.
Ashton, you up next, bro.
I mean, my upbringing, I feel like my mama deserved the world. I mean, just how I grew up, I see it's not like everybody else's. Like me personally, I grew up thinking half the stuff that I did didn't cost. Like my mom and dad didn't talk about money. I went to the boys club every year. Come to find out, I thought it was free. Come to find out, that's $500 per kid. I never knew that until probably like 21 years of age. I never knew that cost. Like, some parents, oh, damn, what is daddy say on everybody? Hey, Chris, oh, that's 19 cent electricity you using. Like, I didn't have to go through that. Like, that's a blessing in itself. Not having the feeling like you um you a detriment to your family, like you worrisome, you bother them, like that in itself. I mean, it's just certain stuff. I feel like my mama she deserved a lot because I grew up in a sheltered household. Like I didn't have to worry about the stuff that other people worried about, like a family member graping me. Like my mama asked questions like that growing up. Like I was ahead of my curve, and I feel like just for that alone, like she deserved the world. But like I said, I know my mama, she wouldn't take it. Maybe an air fryer or something like that, but a house, she wouldn't, and that make her deserve the world even more. In my honest opinion.
All right. John the Baptist.
um, what does a you said mother? I'm gonna say woman, and I know we probably doing this. It's getting close to Mother's Day, so the subject probably gonna be hot and heavy right about now. But what does a mother or woman deserve? First of all, it depends on if she is a mother. First of all, and I'm basing this off of Proverbs 31. If she is a mother, then she's also a husband first. And if I'm sorry, she's a wife first, and she
I
has a
was like,
husband.
where are you going with that?
Yeah, misspoke there. Apologize for that one.
Yeah.
She is a mother first. I mean, she's a mother, then she's a wife first, and so she's not put. So therefore, her people who know her husband know that everything about her, that she does her husband well. That even when he goes out, people know that he's a man, and that they recognize him, and then they recognize her through him. She does well by him and for him. If she's a mother um, who's married, then next thing she does, she makes the life of her husband easier. How does she do this? By her character and her work ethic. Everything she does, whether I'm sorry,
Keep going.
whether she when she everything she does is for a house and for the benefit of her house. So any side deal she does, any business she does, is to improve her house through the benefit of her husband and the thing that he's leading and the things that he's leading and doing. Her kids recognize how hard she worked from sun up to sundown. She's every action she takes put other people before herself. And so she never considers herself, but she considers her husband. She considers her kids. She considers her. And Proverbs 1 talks about her handmaiden, the people that work with her to get the things done that her husband wants to get done. So her whole actions is sacrifice for the family's sake, so that she can make her husband look good, her kids can look good. They never go without. They're never hungry. They're never worried about clothes. They never worry about any issues at all, because she is working to support her husband. And if this woman does everything that she's supposed to do, she deserves all the praise that life gives that comes her way. Now, but this certain type of woman, it needs to be promoted and praised when she does what's required of her through marriage. So therefore, her kids doesn't mind saying how great my mom was, how great she is. I think the young man on the panel was just talking about this a few minutes ago. Oh, I can't say his name because I'm on my phone. I can't say it.
Ashton.
But anyway, huh?
Probably Ashton. Probably.
I think it is Ashton. So
Uh,
yeah, I'm not. Women who exemplify the things they should do. Society, kids should praise their mothers but that's come respect of the hard work they put in. Some women now don't want to put the work in; they just want the praise to come with it automatically.
All right, King Spark. Now you may lay your case.
Man, I don't know about anybody else, okay? But my mama was a G. My mama held me down like four flats, like everything. Made sure I had money in my pocket when I was a kid. Make sure I went to all my little league practices, basketball, football, karate. My mama damn near took a charge for me. Like my mama deserved everything. And it feels good to be in a position right now where I could kind of take care of her. You know what I'm saying? You need a couple dollars, pay for your car note here. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. I love doing it. If I could do more, I would. That's all I got.
All
But
right,
everybody
Smitty.
mama ain't like that though, Spark.
That's true.
Everybody mama ain't like that.
Now we got a good conversation going now. I like that. So we got
No,
some people where it's like, Mama ain't shit. She don't get nothing. King Spark like all glory. The black woman is God. All right. So
no,
Smitty, what's
so,
going on?
no, no. See, I think you misunderstand. No, my mom was dope as hell. Now, don't get it twisted.
Man, I
Okay,
was
But,
let's keep
dope.
going.
but, I'm reminded of the movie Fences, and I recognize it was between Denzel and his son. But what did he say? It's my job.
Oh, you
That
taking my answer. Be
Okay,
quiet,
look,
AP.
hey,
You're
that
not
hey,
doing
P,
that.
is
AP,
And
No,
let's
like
keep
no,
let's,
no,
we
let's
no,
go
no,
around.
no. I've kept you right there. You taking my
and we
answer.
getting out of order.
Hey,
You
AP,
taking
let's
my
go
answer.
around. Smitty's up next.
You
oh,
can't take
my
my
bad.
answer.
Go ahead, go ahead. My bad.
That's all right.
Respect. Brother Trey, can you reiterate the question for me? I'm just hopping
Yeah.
in.
What
Yeah.
does your mother deserve for raising you?
Oh man. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm with Brother King Spark on that one. So my mother and father, still together, still alive and everything. I come from a two-parent household. Anything that my mother calls for, I mean, I almost press myself to insist upon. Now, I'll say this to make it brief. As men naturally, truly in men is our gratitude and our flex. Our real flex is when those around us depend on us and they can rely on us and we are dependable. You know what I mean? So if, like King Spark said, salute to that, bro. Like me personally, yeah, it feels good to be in a position where if my mother hit me for whatever, I'm talking about even me in this wheelchair right now, my mother can still call on her son. And it feels good to know that like my mom actually listens to me on certain things and she don't just like, I'm your mother, you my boy, and that's it. She recognizes that growth, but where did that growth come from? It came from the upbringing in which her being there, along with what I saw with my father. And I see that dynamic and I see that connection. So I grew up with that and I'm thankful for that. You know what I mean? So I would just say my mother deserves absolutely anything in the world that she wants. And I feel like King Spark on that one, bro. I wish I could give her more. I wish I could give my mother more. Damn right she deserves it because my mother drinks and smokes. She quit that while she was pregnant with me and my siblings. Oh, yeah, each one of us. She stopped for them 9 months for us.
Bro,
She made sure she was healthy. She made
Smitty,
sure she helped us.
She's
Smitty.
supposed to do that. She's
She's
supposed to do
supposed
that.
to do that, Smitty.
Listen to what I'm
That's
saying.
smoke, man. That's
How many of us know? Because I know personally, I got relatives, bro. A lot of them don't stop. A
I
lot of them
know,
talking
bro.
about
I
some
know,
I'm sick. They still smoking weed and they still
bro.
doing a lot of stuff. I have cousins who came into this world high on coke.
I know. Listen, I know, bro. But listen here. Smoking itself is already bad. You don't get
We
kudos.
know that. I
Stop
mean,
the
no,
video.
I'm just
Okay.
saying everything that she did where I know a lot of other mothers did not do for theirs. My mother did for me in that sense. There are a lot of
All right.
people who did who can't say that. That's all I'm saying. Why you think we got the term crack baby?
No, I'm not gonna fight you, and I'm gonna give my
That's
answer.
all I'm saying, bro. That's it. I'm just saying everything my mother's done, she's always put us first. And I was just using that as I didn't want to get stuck on that. That was
Yeah.
just a small, even down to that. Like nope, I not stop all of that. No, no wine, no none of that. I'm pregnant right now, and she did it the right way. She even changed her diet. She was real cautious about that and everything. So I'm really thankful for that. A lot of people they don't do that. They're very selfish all the way through.
And we can
I
address
digress.
this
My mic is
job
muted.
thing too. That job situation that y'all talking about. First of all, okay, let's say it's her job, okay, but is she a
We got to
run of the
keep going.
mill
We got to keep going. We
employee
got to keep going. We got to keep
or is
going.
she outstanding?
I say you got one more. Good Black Man Unfiltered, right? You finish
Yeah,
it.
I mean, yeah. Move on. I digress. I'm done. Thank you. I appreciate you.
No doubt, bro. BMU.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How y'all doing today? How y'all doing?
All right,
What's
brother.
up, black man? Black man unfiltered. How you doing today?
Man, doing pretty good, man. Hey, listen, I agree with what John the Baptist was saying when he broke it down scripture in the scripture. Um, I also agree that when it comes to moms, my mom deserves, hey, yeah, thank you, mama. I'm here for, if I want to do something nice for your mama. But I think it gets to a point where we deal with mamas who can't let go. They love you so
Mm-hmm.
much they can't let you go. And what I mean by that is I've had this situation with my mother, and I was raised up in the church, raised up in scripture. But when it comes to, and I told my mama this, when it comes to scripture, when it came to your son getting married and starting his own family, you forgot about scripture
Mm.
because the Bible says when a man meets his wife, he leaves his
Mm-hmm.
mother and
Mhm.
father. It didn't say stay, take care of mama. It says he leaves his mother and father and clings to his wife. So now I've taken on a position as a man, and that man has a responsibility to his wife and his children. What some moms do, and some moms say, some moms invest in you so when you get older, you can invest in them. Let me say that again. Some moms will invest in you so when you get older, you can invest in them. That means how many times anybody that's watching right now, put it in the channel, hit that like button, subscribe button now too. But when how many times have a man heard his mama say, "All I've done for you, I put clothes on your back.
Yep.
I was the one up all night with you, and you can't pay my car note, you can't pay my mortgage. All I've
She was
done for
supposed to.
you." Right? But mama,
That is very true.
what you didn't understand though, mama, is that you decided to lay on your back, receive the semen from my father, get pregnant with me, go 9 months and go through labor pains with me. And you decided to do that on your own. Not one time did me and you have a discussion about me coming here. So when I came here, like Denzel said in Fences, when you came here, you were my responsibility. But mama, you're raising me to let me go. You're not raising me to keep me. I'm not here to pay, when I get married, I'm not here to pay your bills and my bills. I'm here to take care of my wife and what we have created and built together. So so I know Mother's Day is coming, which is the most important day of the year. The second most important day of the year behind Christmas is Jesus, then it's Mama's, right?
No, mama
The
first.
Father's Day is number 20 on the holiday list. We'll talk about that next month. But again, I just want to say that mamas need to learn how to let go and let their sons flourish and become the men that they are, and stop throwing in your son's face everything you did for him because that's what you were supposed to do. And
Yep.
I'll land my plane there.
All right. It's my
Hey,
go now.
trigger,
I'm
I,
utterly
real question.
appalled
One
at
question,
what's
Come
trigger.
on,
going
real
on
quick.
on the panel today.
Who got a question?
Me, trigger.
Go ahead.
Was that Black Man Unfiltered or Spark the other day when
That
we
was
was on
Black
the
Man Untethered.
on
Yes,
the
it was.
yeah, okay, I gotta get on your head about that later on. I gotta beef with you about that. We're gonna handle that as grown men. I want people to see how we can be grown men about it.
All right.
What's the question, man?
Nah, we gonna do it later. Paying you too. I owe you one
Oh, he,
too.
he was setting them up. He was setting them up. That was the
Yeah,
jab,
yeah,
and
Mike. You remember
the
you
right
said
calls coming
you
later.
set them up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I set
that
up
was a
too. I
jab.
got you.
He said he gonna right hook you later. All right, got you. All right, listen, man. I've heard everybody's opinion on this, but let me give mine. What does your mother deserve from raising you? For raising you? If she raised you responsibly, I'm not even going to comment. My mother raised me responsibly, right? She raised me under the guidance and sanctity of marriage. She raised me responsibly. So for that, she deserves my consideration and my appreciation. That's it. So what I mean by that is your mother deserves your consideration to say that if she calls as her eldest son, I always pick up. If I miss the call, I call right back. What is it, mom? What can I facilitate for you? Usually has nothing to do with me. Maybe it's about my siblings and they tripping and something like that. So she deserves my consideration. And of course, appreciation is self-explanatory. The reason why I say all mothers deserve your consideration is because lack of consideration can be viewed as disrespect. And you are not allowed to disrespect your parents, no matter what they did. So you
Well,
must give your consideration to them. Now, for all this stuff that I heard about what mothers do for you and how they pay for the PAL and pay for your activities, I want y'all to understand that's actually your mama's job. That is her duty and her reasonable service to do such things for you as your mom. Now, here's the part that's really gonna get y'all. All right. Just because you enjoyed something that was done for you doesn't mean that it was for you. Did y'all ever
Come on.
realize that?
can I ask you a question, brother
No, hold
Trey?
on, hold on, hold on though.
When
Just
you're done, I
Hold on, hold on.
apologize.
Let him
just
finish.
because you
Mhm.
What
enjoyed
I'm
it
talking about.
doesn't mean it was for you. Listen, my wife
What?
cleans the house and listens to Jill Scott every Sunday. Every Sunday when I wake up, that's what she's doing. And the first time, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm taking in Sports Center or looking in my phone and stats, all I gotta hear is one of my children's name yelled at just an octave, like, oh, they done messed something up, she done cleaned. My son done pulled all his toys back out the closet, and I'll get my clothes on and I'll take my kids to urban air. Y'all know these jump parks and little bumper
Yeah,
car
yeah, yeah. We
places.
got
I,
Sky
I got
Zone.
them a whole
Yeah,
membership. I pay every month. I will
yeah.
take them there to play for hours. They are literally in heaven talking about, I love this place. Oh, all day long. That's not for them. That's for their mother.
I
Right.
got you.
So she can clean in peace. So she can listen to her music and have that glass of wine in peace. They enjoy themselves, but that's for her. Everything that was done for you was not for you. That was that lady's peace of mind to get away from your crazy ass for a few hours. So thanking her and doing all that stuff, yeah, we can't be foolish about this because I didn't notice it before until I became a parent. Like, damn, no wonder they dropped us off at the rec center for 13 hours a day.
Oh, they made us go outside all day. We
No
had to just go
wonder.
outside.
No wonder they did that.
Yeah, we
I
had to
mean,
stay outside.
go ahead, let's chop it up. What you got?
Real
Hey,
quick, I
Trick.
got this
Oh,
question for you, real quick, brother Trick. So, if we're speaking biblically, so of course we all know that there is a scripture in there that says, uh, honor thy mother and father. But you know something that's not spoken about, brother Trick, because I was hearing what you were saying. I'm not disagreeing. I just want to know where your mind state is on it. So
Mhm.
it also says, children do not. I mean, parents do not incite your children into wrath. And I don't ever hear people talk about that part of the Bible because it's in there. So as much as it says honor thy mother and father, but I also believe that has to deal with if the mother or father is honorable. So when you say do not disrespect your mother, it does say parents do not incite your children in the
You're talking
wrath.
about in
So
You're talking about
how?
in
So
Ephesians
so
6. You're talking about Ephesians
yeah.
6.
Ephesians 6 says, "Do not provoke your children to
right.
anger."
So real quick, because I'm landing it and you guys take it away. I'm landing. So all I'm saying is,
Huh?
how do the mothers or the fathers provoke their children into wrath? Well, simple. When you neglect them, when you're having different people all around them and having their environment not comfortable, when you're not providing, when you're not there for their games and their plays and their everything else they're doing, that's how you incite. So one day when you do you was never there and you're getting that angry lashing out at you. That's the one thing I'm making sure that I cover. I'm there for mine. She's 15. I've been there. She's been on my chest, and now she's walking beside me, and I'm gonna
I got
make
this
sure
one
I'm there as
next
long as I can.
after Smitty.
So I
I
just
got this
wanted to
after
say,
Smitty.
brother, what do you say about that as far as the mothers who don't, or the and the parents who don't deserve that honor? What
So
can
Let,
we
let me say
still
So
this. Can
get
I
it
say this
before,
real?
for?
so
hold on,
before
I
Ephesians
digress. My
6,
mic is muted.
So
Yeah. Let me say. Let me say
go
this
ahead.
real
No, no,
quick,
go ahead,
guys.
BMU. Go ahead, BMU.
How many times? How many times? If we want to be real about what he just said, Ephesians 6 does say, "Do not provoke thy children to anger." Right. So how
Ephesians
many
5
times?
first.
I mean, yeah. There you go. There you go, John the Baptist. Thank you for having my back on this. So my thing is this: how many times just talk about our generation, going back to our childhood? How many times we didn't got our ass beat from something that our parents' ass did? Let me say that again. How many times have we got our ass beat for something our parents' ass did? Let me give you an example.
My,
All right,
I haven't.
about
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
about provoking. Right. So
Uh-huh.
basically, how can you neglect me for 7 days or 6 days, and on my game day you don't show up, and I get an attitude with you, and you pop me in the mouth? You provoked the behavior that you're seeing by neglecting me. You're supposed to be my mother, my father, right? Or I don't supposed to be at home 3 or 4. I didn't ask to be at home 3 or 4 days with nothing to eat. I didn't ask to be here at home at this house, and you leaving me with my uncle, and my uncle molesting me.
Some will say I didn't ask to be
I didn't.
born.
Right, right. I didn't ask to be here, right? So my thing is, how many times have we, as a people, as a black people, how many times have we gotten disciplined or handled for something that was provoked by one of our parents?
Hmm.
So I would say this. That's why I think I went with Proverbs first, because Ephesians 6 does matter a lot. But when you do
Right.
when you understand Proverbs 31 first, when you understand what's actually happened here, that when the mother is working in unison with the father, no child will ever be left behind.
Okay.
What
Exactly,
hap-
brother. Preach, brother.
what
Preach.
what's happened in today's time is no one is working in unison anymore. So therefore, when Trigger Mike, who deserve what do women deserve? Well, a certain type of woman who doesn't work in unison with the father, with her husband, well, you don't really deserve much, because what happens is you leave your children unprotected, and so now you get Smitty. And I'm not saying you personally, so I'm just
No, no,
talking
I
about the
get you. Go
subject.
ahead, brother. I get you.
So when Smitty comes up, it's about, well, don't provoke your sons, don't provoke your kids. Well, that's what happened. You didn't work in unison with the father.
Right.
You left your child uncovered. And so therefore now you got fathers and mothers who are provoking their kids because y'all did not work in unison. You left their kid
Mm-hmm.
uncovered. And kids
Mm-hmm.
have to understand now, kids gotta understand this too. If your mom and dad both go to work, well, they left you uncovered. They really did. They made a bad decision because they both went to work. They left you uncovered. That's why you feel provoked right now. But sometimes you got to understand that don't just say because they both went to work, they were neglecting me. Well, they might be
Right.
in situations where they have to work. So we got to take that consideration too. So they might not make your basketball game. They might not make your games. But you need to take consideration, okay, why did they miss it? Now, if they missed it because they just refused to work together in unison, then that's a different story. But if they just didn't make it because if they didn't make it because they both had to work just to get the bills paid because something went wrong, you might be
I
because
see.
hey,
Yeah,
so you
it's
gotta take that
like
into consideration.
Can I
yeah,
go
yeah,
now?
yeah.
Now,
It's
now,
like at least
now,
you
John.
got your basketball paid for. You got you. They paid for the shoes. They paid for you to be able to play and everything else because they're working. I can understand
Now,
that.
now, 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 Smitty. Now, I'm gonna say this, and
You
I'm
let
gonna
me
let
know
King
when it's
Spark,
my
because I know
turn,
King
Mike.
Spark. Yeah, yeah. I promise you, I'm finna land this Spark. I want to hear what you have to say. I know you got it. You finna kill it. Drop a dime on it. So look, even when it comes to Proverbs 31, let me add to what John said, because I don't
Okay.
want to miss this moment. Proverbs 31, it says a woman who takes care of her children and her husband will be rewarded off the work she does for them.
Mm.
So if a
Yes,
woman
yes.
is out of line and she's not in line with what her man is doing and what her family is doing, then why
Right.
should she be rewarded at all?
So
But
you're
I
saying
land my
that's
plane there.
why me and King Spark feel the way we do about our mothers because I guess what she did, that's the reward she should get. I mean, I can get with that. Yes,
Well,
sir.
we don't.
I
This
can get
is
It
with
all
this
that.
it,
is
it
one
all it
thing.
all but
This is one.
All right,
it all
go ahead,
depends though. It
John the
all
Baptist,
depends
and
though.
we're gonna
Did
get
your
Ishmael in
mother's?
there.
I'm not talking about you specific, but it all depends. Does a mother work with a husband? We keep trying to overlook this part
How
in
you gonna
today's
take the
society.
mic
Yeah,
back
like I
again,
said, I
though?
came from a two-parent household. My parents are still
No,
married
no,
to this
no,
day,
no.
42 years.
I was speaking to you, Jen. I was speaking to you specific. I'm just
Respect,
speaking in
respect,
general.
respect.
All right.
Okay,
All I
this
wanted
is
to
what I
say.
was.
Hold on. Let's get
Hold
Ikene's opening
on.
thoughts. And
Go ahead. You can.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, on
this
somebody
is
else.
one thing I have to say. We all grew up in different ways in our family. Some of us grew up with single mothers, some of us grew up with single two parents households. Some of us have very busy parents, either if he's single or both parents are home. But one thing that I know from where I grew up, my mother and my dad neither bought me anything for a soccer game. In fact, when I went to the soccer game, they came and beat my ass home because soccer game in Nigeria, they can mess up your leg, and now your parents have to take
pay.
you to hospital to get you fixed. So you get hours whooping for going to soccer game.
Oh, it's weird. It's weird,
Hey,
but it's
hold
true.
up.
If you injured and you like,
Hey, hold up.
who has money for this? All
Yeah,
right, go ahead.
nobody has the money. They don't have that money to take you to hospital. So that's the kind of family we're raised in. It kind of make me laugh so many a time when we look at the way that kids today are so entitled to so many things, and we justify it because of what we lack growing up.
Uh-oh.
Everything that I lack growing up, I don't regret that my parents didn't give it to me. In fact, when I was a little kid, I was pissed off, but now I understand why they didn't give it to me. That doesn't mean we should be buying our kids or giving them what we know that if they don't get, they're going to feel entitled to. If you look at it this way, kids today are damaged because their parents were damaged. I was driving my wife to work today, and then she was asking me, why is it that kids are so damaged? I told her that the reason why kids are damaged is because the parents are damaged. We in our generation, when we were growing up, we know certain people that when you go to certain people's houses, the things that your parents didn't buy you, their parents bought them. And then you're pissed at your parents for not buying you some certain thing. And now when you have kids, you want to buy your kids what somebody else's parents bought them. Only to find out that those kids that those things were bought for, they were damaged. But now you become part of another person's damagedness by buying into their family's stupidity. If you don't have it, don't buy it. If you cannot afford it, don't buy it. Because what you are creating when you buy something you're not supposed to buy for your kids is that you're creating generational costs. It's going to go down from generation to generation. Because the reason why a lot of women spend more than they could bring home is because a lot of women felt that their father should have bought them this, their mother should have bought them this, their boyfriend should have bought them this. So when they have kids, guess what? They start buying their kids what the kids are not supposed to have. The corporations took advantage of our stupidity by marketing us what we thought we didn't have. Corporations didn't start this. No, we started it. They just took advantage of it.
Take advantage. Yep.
Well,
Hey,
damn.
Yeah.
That's
I'm waiting on
that's how
King
you say
Spark,
it.
man.
I
King
got
Spark finna kill it.
I gotta stop you there. It's a if you ain't never been in business, it's a book called How to Sell to the Negro. It wasn't us.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's on
Yeah, it
YouTube
wasn't
too, you
us.
gentlemen. Go watch it. Go watch it.
I
Yeah,
referenced that. Yeah.
I gotta stop you there.
What do you
So
mean?
it
I
wasn't
don't
us.
think
I
I
mean,
don't think contextually how to sell to a Negro applies here. In
I
fact, not
mean,
only the how to sell to a Negro reinforces his point. The reason in how to sell to a Negro, they basically say start with the highest price thing first. How did we get to want things that we didn't afford? He just explained that, or we can't afford. Rather, we want the shiniest, right?
yeah,
Even
but
though black people are the lowest earning people in the United States of America by percentage, we own the most amount of Mercedes Benzes. How the hell did we get there?
Trigger. Can I land? Can I land?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. In sales, they tell you always get past the father, get to the wife,
Yeah.
because that's who gonna break their neck to buy something. That wife, the woman of the house. We know the father. They gon' nah. I don't need it right now. I ain't. I'm okay. I can go. What I get it another time. But that woman, she gonna break her neck to get it. That's selling to a Negro right there. That ain't just. I gotta stop you right there.
I understand. Anybody else
Whoa,
got anything on
whoa,
this
whoa,
one?
whoa. So
Humble
I want
lingo.
to push back on that last point real quick. You are right in regards to what they say, but as a man, the wife should say, "Let me confer with my husband." So I understand what you're
But
saying.
she won't though. She won't
What
though.
makes you say?
She
First of all,
won't.
whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you mean she won't? You
Wait,
mean
hold on. If
go
you in
ahead.
sales, AP, right? Okay, let me give you the number one
I
rebuttal for
was in
that,
sales. I
okay?
am not in
Yeah,
sales
yeah.
anymore.
Come
Hold
on,
on,
King Spark. Come on,
let
come
me
on,
give
come.
you the rebuttal, okay?
Right,
Go ahead.
Miss
exactly.
Johnson, Miss Johnson, when you're in the grocery store and you're making a decision on the green beans or the collard greens, do you call your husband and ask him what he think? I didn't think so. You're capable of making this decision here with us today. Now you want to use a
Come on, boy.
Visa or a
You're
MasterCard?
absolutely correct. Yes, sir. You're
However, he
absolutely
controls the
correct.
budget, so I purchase what I'm able to budget for.
That's not
That's your
that's not
job as
So
a
gonna
man.
overcome.
in
Hey,
Proverbs, go
AP,
back, go
That's
back
your
to
job.
Proverbs 31.
AP,
Go back to
that's not gonna overcome a woman's will.
Go back to Proverbs 31 again. Proverbs 31 talk about the exact same thing. This woman has the ability to go out there and consider and buy a field, but she considers the field after she considers the house budget. House budget has been set by what her and her husband already discussed. There are things that are being set in place that she operates up under. Now, what happens a lot of time is when a woman operates outside of what her and her husband already agreed to. A woman who makes a deal without considering what her husband don't mean that she had to call him on the phone, but what did you talk about before you went to that store? What was the budget you guys discussed?
Let me tell
Right.
And
you.
you know what?
Yeah,
You know what, John the Baptist? Even real quick, brother Payne, I promise. When we go, even I was in sales for 12 years selling cars, guys, and I mean very luxury cars. And when a guy came in with his wife, I wanted to talk to the guy. You know why? Because I knew who wore the pants. You had some simps coming in, some betas would come in there, and when they came in, and the husband would say, "Oh no, that's not in our, we're not doing that." And what I would
Baby,
do, I
please,
would tell
baby,
the husband,
please.
no. I would have the wife be sitting next to him, and I would say, "Sir, I understand what you're saying. I do want to say this though. I know you want to keep your wife safe. Look at her. I know you want to keep her safe. Y'all been married for 15 years, and I know you don't want her to keep driving in the car with no air conditioning. It's summertime. That right tire at the back, it got a knot in it. I mean, the car that she's driving is unsafe. So when you leave here today, make sure you stop by and get that tire fixed, and go to the air place and get that fixed." As well, because we don't want your wife driving, blowing out and hot on the side of the road. I said, because you do want to keep her safe, or we just go ahead and get this car today and you have all that fixed already. I said, which one would you prefer, her being on the side of the road or you buying the car? Look at your wife. I tell him, look at your wife. And she looking at him like, shit, what you finna do? He said, what do we sign? Okay, let's move forward. So you would attack the betas, right? Because you would have those type of men. But if you go back to what John the Baptist was saying, if you got alpha males like me and the rest of you guys on the panel, no, our wife already understands us and respects us enough to say, I don't care what offer you give me. I have to consult with my man.
And you know what? I'm gonna correct something. I'm not an alpha. I'm not an alpha. I don't need no pack. I'm a loner.
Well,
All right,
let me.
well,
Hey,
look, dig
again,
these
boy.
blues, man. Dig these
All right,
blues.
so
Dig these
humble
blues,
lingo,
man.
yet,
Dig these
but
Come
blues.
on,
Dig
King
these blues.
Spark. I hear you, boy.
Um,
humble
first of
lingo,
all,
yet.
I think I guess this is more of a personal conversation when we talking about the mothers, right? Everybody has our own personal experience, and I could just say I'm fortunate, right? Because my position is, even if it is a job, is it the dude that come in barely on time with his shirt ruffled, looking like hell from the day before, and try to leave early and late on lunch, or is it an outstanding employee that deserves a promotion? So there's a difference. Yeah, everybody work there, but everybody ain't doing the job the way they supposed to be doing their job.
Am I the
And
only
my
one lost
mother
on
Exactly.
that?
and
Am
my
I the only one
mother,
lost on this one? On that one? Can you explain that?
what
I
you
Can you
mean,
lost
explain?
that
about?
person that person with their shirt wrinkle get the job done better sometimes. So I can't agree with you on this part.
What
Just because you there the longest, that don't mean
man, what
you the
is y'all
best.
talking about today?
I'm trying. I'm no. I'm trying. I was trying to understand your point. I didn't catch your point. I
The
was trying to
shirt
get
It
your
with the
was
I
point.
called
wrinkled
it.
shirt get the job
back
done
to the
better? No, he
question of
don't, because he
I
work
desire.
called it.
crazy.
I
He
I
I
went
saw
back
saw
to
what
what you.
that
Mark
to
said.
the original question.
I wasn't disagreeing. I was just trying to. I was trying to get understanding of what you just said because I missed it.
Hey, let's get humble in on the conversation, man. He ain't
I don't know what to do with y'all today, man. Y'all all over the place.
Hello.
King Sparks. Sparks. I was not
Y'all all over the
disagreeing
place. I
with
don't know
you.
what to do
I
with
wouldn't
y'all.
disagree with you. I was trying to understand. I was trying to get the point that you made. I didn't get it.
And I
let's
know
get humble in on the
y'all gonna hate
conversation.
this too. Y'all gonna hate this too, but you really don't need the Bible to explain everything. It's just common sense, man. Half of it is just
Some of it is. Yes.
regular, just knowledge.
King Spark, let me just
Hey,
add
well,
to what you
let
just said
humble
right
go for a
now.
second, man. He ain't say nothing, man. Let him roll, man. Let's get the last guy in on this thing. Go ahead, humble.
Hey,
Say
hi.
something.
How you guys doing, man?
All right.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay. This topic is very, very hard, very, very hard. I won't lie to you, because you so many men would not even accept not to take care of their mothers. A lot of men would not even accept that. But what I can say on this topic is, when your parents, I'm talking about the male and the female, dad and mom, when your parents raise you up, help you grow to a certain age where you leave the house and get married to your own wife, you're supposed to enjoy your marriage, not to carry your parents' baggage. Now, if they're still alive to maybe like retire age, like 70, 80, 90, yes, you can help. Like for the guys, you can help, cover your father, what your father cannot do anymore. Like, helping your mom around and doing all, you can help, but not taking up all responsibility, like expenses, putting yourself in debt and all the stuff. Look, because my father right now is 80 and my mom is 70. Now there are things my father cannot do anymore. That sometimes, like driving to the hospital, going to the hospital and all that, going around, sometimes when we have time, we help mom and maybe we can drive them around. But not buying you a whole house. Let's say you must buy me a house. You
For
must
real.
buy me a house. No, because now it's just like you taking away from your wife, your own family that you're supposed to enjoy, taking away from your family and put. The most important, the crazy part is when it's single mom or single dad. It is just like you're not gonna give more. You're not even gonna pay attention to your wife much as you want to, because your mom is in there. You're not gonna pay much attention, and most women don't even like that. Most wives don't even appreciate that. Most wives don't even like that. And there's somebody said about honor your father and your mother. Honor your father and your mother. It is the only commandment in the Bible that comes with a promise. When you do it, it is the only commandment. When you honor your father and your mother, they said your days will be long in the land that God gave to you. So that's the reason why I
I
say
got
it is very hard. Like it is hard. Like, man, when you tell people not to take care of the mom or dad, oh man, it's just like,
Hey, humble, I got pushback for you, brother.
Let me
I
get
go
this
got
ahead. I'm
pushback.
listening.
I
before
got
this.
pushback. I got pushback real quick. I got pushback real
Go
quick.
ahead. Go ahead.
First of all, why is everybody under the assumption that your mama's fucked up? Now, first of all, for me, my mother has always had her shit together. She still has her shit together. She has all her finances in order and all of that. So what I'm talking about doing for my mom ain't in the back breaking circumstance. My mom is good. It's just, can I do something? Can I call and say, hey, mama, you need a couple dollars? Like, shit, yeah, money is always good. Send me some money, or whatever the case may be. Like, mama is straight. I'm not
Who
about
made
to
that?
break house and
Okay,
home to
let me
Who
like
made
let me
that? Who
ask
made
you.
that? Who made
that's
that?
not the
Who made that
Hold on,
assumption?
situation.
John the
let me
Baptist.
Kingsport.
respond
Hold on,
to
John
Humble
the Baptist.
respond.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Humble.
King Spot. Let me just ask you a direct question. Let's say you got like $10 million right now. $10 million. Your
Mhm.
mom say, King Spark, I need a house in Dallas that costs $1 million. You gonna buy it right now?
See, that's the thing. My mama would never say that.
No. I'm just asking.
My
It's just a
mama would
question.
never
Are you
say
going?
that.
No,
No, you don't
no, you
understand. She
hold
would
on, hold on.
never say that. Never.
Wait.
But well, the
Now
topic of
your
the day
mom.
Never.
alludes to the fact that most moms in America would expect something of the sort,
Hold on.
or at
Like
least
Oh
some
yeah.
level.
Well,
now,
and she gonna
The
get
topic
something.
of today.
She gonna get something too. She definitely gonna get something.
what?
But to
But
say
Naturally,
I want a
but you,
one
I'm
million dollar house in Dallas right now, no. My mother don't even. She don't even move like
but
that.
no. King Spark,
But
hold
King
on.
Spark, but King Sparks,
Wait.
but there are mothers who operate like that though. That's what we're talking
That's
about
why I
today.
say it's a
that's what
Mothers who,
we're
personal
talking about today.
situation.
Okay,
This is all
no,
let
no,
me
no,
personal.
no,
can
no.
I?
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Okay, go ahead,
That's
go ahead.
that's
Go
hold on, King Spark. That's the subject of today's conversation. So now we understand. We understand your mom might not move that way. We're not saying my mom moved that way. But we are saying there are women who move like this, and so that's what the premise is about. It's not that we're saying all women are screwed up. We're not saying that your mama screwed up. We're saying the subject of the conversation is women who expect this.
But them screwed up mamas. That's what I'm saying. Why we using the
Hold
screwed
on.
up mamas? Why we ain't using the mamas that's
I'm
John
on
the
talking
good
about
Baptist.
shit?
screwed up
John the
woman.
Baptist. Wait. Let me ask King Spark a question. King Spark, just pay attention. Just pay attention. Your mama got your back. She took care of you. She gave you money. She gave you, paid for your apartment and everything. Now you made it. ten
She
million
ain't gonna pay
dollars in
my
your
apartment.
account.
But go ahead though. I'm listening to you. I'm
No,
listening. I'm
I'm
listening.
just giving
Yeah, I'm
you.
listening. I
I'm
listen.
just
I listen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now, son, I need a house in Dallas. I took care of you and everything. Now you're old. You got money. I need a house in Dallas. Cost $1 million. Are you gonna do it?
I would if it came down. If that's what it was. Yes. You got it.
Let me
All
let
right.
me. Can I talk from a more anecdotal experience, man? When I first got married, man, well, I've been married to my wife for almost 15 years. When I first got married, I had this problem with my mama. I'm going to be transparent. My mama, I took my wife out of the country. My mother sent me a message when my wife started posting the damn pictures. She sent me a message. It's amazing that you can take your wife outside the country, but your mama ain't even been ever been outside the state. And,
I'm
and,
sorry,
and
I didn't mean to laugh. My apologies.
and I said, well, Mama, this is my wife. I don't understand what you're trying to get from me here. Do you need anything other than what this conversation is about to turn into? Because sometimes, whether you know it or not, we become adult males, and sometimes we got to check our mamas, dude. Not in no
Yep.
disrespectful way, but you got to be willing to be a man to say, my wife come first now. I was taught, and you taught me this, Mama. You took me to church every Sunday. So if you want to blame somebody, blame yourself for helping me learn what the word
I
say.
thought you were about
The
to say
word
blame
says,
Jesus.
All
right,
right.
leave. It says, leave my mother and
Yep.
cling to my wife. That means I need to. Now I'm going to be with my wife, and you're not that you're not my priority anymore. She is. So I'm not going to come take you out of the country. You and my daddy been married for 40 years now. If y'all been married for 40 years and daddy ain't never took you out the country, that's his problem, not mine.
Not yours.
And
Amen.
that's
I
kind of
agree.
like that. That's kind of like that scenario, that skit about the man putting his mother in the front seat of the car and telling his wife to get in the back.
That's wild.
Those skits. What do you do in that situation, right?
That's wild. That's wild.
So I've seen that skit several times. One of the skits, the car was
What
actually
would you do,
his.
Payne?
I told my mother, get the hell out of the front seat.
Well,
Hell
I
no,
never
I've
did
had
this
that.
with.
I've
she
had that
wouldn't let her
happen.
dad. She wouldn't make her daddy get in the bed.
No, well, you know what?
No, you don't.
I don't know. But my thing
She
is,
wouldn't let her.
first of
Yeah,
all,
your
Am I
daddy
am I
wouldn't
lying,
let you do
Spark?
that.
well, let me answer this differently. I would first. The point is, my mother wouldn't get in the front seat. She would get in the back seat because the front seat belongs to her. I would tell my wife, look, you drive. If I had to get to the dilemma, I told my wife to drive. I'll get in the back seat. But I wouldn't get into this thing where I have to live with this woman knowing that I put her second to my mother. I mean, you got to go home with this chick. I mean, so people got to realize that you ain't living with your mother no more. And you got to live with your wife.
And
So
she's not your responsibility either.
yeah, so my thing is, my answer to that scenario would have been, I would have told my wife, listen, you drive. If I wanted to be neutral, I would have told her to drive. Right?
Tank.
So that
Now,
would have been my
Okay,
way out of that.
somebody tell
Are
me.
we
hold
are
on,
we
hold on,
are
hold
we
on,
go,
Tank.
are we going in line like
But if you
after
Uh,
get the
Pim?
no,
Is
right
it
let
going to
me
be
wife and
Kim's
she's
turn?
Are
on
we
your
boxing?
page, if you
let
got
me
the
get
right wife, she's
let me
on your page, then automatically none of these things will be of an argument. One, if your mother, you say she want to sit in the front seat, whatever. Like, I don't understand because whatever I say as far as the situation is going to see. I mean, have we not forgot we're the captain of the ship? Have we forgotten that? Y'all talking about what they gonna be going back and forth on? First of all, you call the shots on whatever it's gonna be. And if both of those women respect you and your authority as a man and how you lead and how you work and how you move, then that's not gonna be an argument. They're gonna sit wherever you tell them to sit.
Man, listen,
I
let me
don't
tell
know
you
what are we
something,
Not
talking
Smitty.
to
about.
Hold on,
mention,
hold
not
on,
to
man.
mention,
That's great.
if your
Let
mama
me say
have
something
good
to Smitty real
sense,
quick though.
if your mama has good sense, she's not even gonna try to sit in the front seat. My mama's
Exactly,
gonna
King
be
Spark.
like, "You
Exactly.
with your
We're
wife,
talking
y'all
about
riding.
moms.
I'm guest at your house. I'm not sitting in the front
I
seat."
Man,
actually,
but
I
Smitty,
actually personally, real quick, I used to pick my mother up from the metro station. I was with my girl. This is when I was still in college, right? So the mother of my child, when we were together about 12 years. So anyway, my mother she would automatically just come get in the back seat. She never came up to that door, knowing that the mother of my child in the front seat and try to get in the front. She just, that was never an argument. That was never an issue.
but Smitty, let me say this real quick because I work. We're very professional, but I work with some wildebeest and booger wolves. And I'm talking about moralistically. And I hear these women having conversations. These professional women making six figures a year. I hear them talking about. One of the girls are saying, "Me and my husband's upset with me because I moved my mom in the house." Now she's saying her husband's upset with her because she moved out of her master bedroom and gave it to her mama, so in case her mama needs some privacy or have somebody over, they can have a master. And she moved her and her husband in one of the kids' rooms and moved the kid in another room with another kid.
Yeah.
Right? And
That's
I'm thinking to
crazy.
myself, what kind of man
Nah,
would
I don't
allow?
agree with that. I don't agree with
Crazy.
that at all, brother. I swear
That's
I don't. No,
crazy.
no, 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 no. Once you step out and you're out like me, I'm in my home and stuff. No, I mean, my mother would have a room. She has her space and stuff, but nothing would be adjusted
My mama ain't
before
living with me.
those
Period.
come. No, no, no.
No, no, that ain't
Well,
gonna happen.
Exactly.
this
I'm
is
with
Let
this is
me
the
I'm with
this
you
is the
y'all.
on
Let me
pro
that.
get
I'm
let me
with
this is
you.
get
the
these super
problem.
chats
This is the
read. I got
problem
to.
right here.
Hold on. Let me get these super chats read. I got to. And GMAC 2. Black men truly need to research the term mother-son enmeshment. Sherwin Thomas, $2. Honor your mom and dad. She deserves to be honored. Che Cal, $5. In keeping with the scripture, Yeshua said, women, behold your son to his disciple, then went on to give up his life. There is promise behind honoring her. Space is $5. Most dudes only buy their mama a house because they're following other men that have done it. Does she deserve a whole house? No. A kickback? Sure. Shay Cal again. Honor includes forgiving when they come up short. Andre Dale, $10. If any provide not for his own mom, especially those of his own household, he hath denied the faith. Worse than an unbeliever. Honoring your mom and dad has land and promise attached
Worse
to
than
it.
an infidel. Worse than an infidel.
Yep. So
Hey, what is mother son enmeshment? I'm sorry if I'm
look, I'm gonna
slow.
have to look it up.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I've
son
never
husbands,
heard of that. Mother son
I
enmeshment.
son
can
What is that?
husbands.
contextually I can probably
It
think
sounds
enmeshment.
incestual,
It
but
just
let me
means
shut
no.
up.
To me, it just means son husband. Contextually, it
We
just
right
means
along.
son husband relationship.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, okay, the mom that can't let go and vice versa. Got it.
Yeah, I have to
Hmm.
look it up, but contextually, I think that's probably what it means.
Okay,
All right.
Trigger Mike, you
So
finished with? Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead real quick, then we'll get the next topic started. Go ahead.
Okay, this is the problem, right? The problem has to do with the fact
Hey, y'all
that
have a good day, man. I gotta get back to the bag.
I, wa-
All right,
Come
bro.
I
on,
was
Come on, unfiltered.
I was with my sister the other day, so we were discussing, and then she started interfering in so many family discussions. I had to quiet her down, and the reason why I had to quiet her down is this: women start learning from childhood. This is not a mother thing. They start learning from childhood on how to be in charge of their parents' house. So from childhood, they want to be the boss. They want to control their brothers. So when they get married, they run their husband's house and run their parents' house. Now, when your brothers start getting when her brothers start getting married, she doesn't want the brothers' wives to say what happens in her parents' house. But she already married. So she's going to run her parents' house. She's going to run her husband's house. Guess what happened? When her children marries or start marrying, right? Now she want to run her children's house. I got to tell you guys something. Men are naturally supposed to be territorial, but women are dominatory. Women love to dominate until you put a stop to it as a man.
Yep.
You have to put a stop to it from her childhood. If she grew up like that, she's going to do it in her father's house, in her husband's house, and to her kids. She will not know no boundary because she has gotten that character whereby she doesn't know boundary. This is not an American thing. This is a black woman thing globally. Our women love to dominate everywhere they go to. They love their voice to be heard. They love they like to have the final say, and they like to determine what happens. So I got to tell you guys something. Your mother can get you a house from you if it's your wish to give her that house, to buy a house. But this is how it's supposed to be. Your parents should have their own house.
Yes,
You
that's how
shouldn't
it
be
should be.
providing house for them. They should have
Yes,
raised you in a house. Their house is supposed to be where your history lays until you die. That's where you're supposed to be prideful and say, that's the house I was raised. So parents shouldn't be lazy to build or buy a house and rely on their children. It's not a good thing. So,
I agree.
with that being said, buy your parents' house if they don't have house at all. But you have to first situate your wife and your kids before you start buying a house for your parents. If they can buy a house when they were growing up, or when you guys were growing up, they should go live in an apartment. You see what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean you should throw your parents away because that's not gonna happen. Yes, I will buy a house for my mom, but after I have situated my wife, then I should start looking out for my parents. That's how it's supposed to be. But kids are supposed to take care of their parents.
All right, let's get the next topic started. Next one is, since we're talking about that you shouldn't buy your mom a house, and everybody pretty much has alluded to, yes, just like you said, brother Ikene, you don't discard your mom. That
Correct.
is not what we're talking about here, and that's not the message I want anybody to leave with. There are irresponsible gestures that you can make that are completely irresponsible that will bankrupt you as a man. Don't Let's just understand. These professional athletes that do this, their mom won't be able to maintain that home. They're going to have to take it from them and sell it. Cuz like I like
Very
talking
true.
real shit. How the hell can we say buy your mom a home when 80% of these people are going to be broke 5 years after they leave the league? She won't be able to stay there very long. Okay? So we're going to talk about responsible ways to take care of your mom, and I'm going to start with this because
There you go.
I'm going to start with this, all right? You look, when I was talking about this with someone, not only should you not buy never, and I mean to me, even though we say, oh, if you can do it, no, you should not do it ever. I don't think you should ever purchase your mother a home. That is what set this whole trend naturally. Male ego saying I can do this for all people, regardless of what the average man can do. Less than 1% of all people anywhere can finance an entire home for someone else in addition to their own. It is not smart. What you can do and what you should do, if you see the ethnic groups that do it right, is always create a space that your mother can also live. All right. I told you I got a brother. We've already discussed it. He's a mama's boy. So he wants first dibs. He act like I'm going to argue with him or something. But yes, he is thinking when he moves, he wants to move to either Texas or Arizona. He's going to buy a home big enough for his children. And so our mother can have a room as well. He's planning that already. You can absolutely do that. That is a responsible way to do it. But I told you, outside of the bounds of marriage, this is where it gets messy. My father already told me his eldest son to sell the house he built if the life insurance isn't enough, if the savings isn't enough, if you don't sell, if the business in Nigeria and that ain't enough, sell my house to take care of your mama. That's the way it's supposed to be done. I ain't got no burden. No burden is on me. I'm taking the money he left to take care of my mom. That's the way it's supposed to be. So if you don't have that, and obviously we can see everybody wasn't raised that way, right? Everybody damn sure don't got life insurance. Everybody don't have a house they can sell to take care of their mama. You have to start figuring out reasonable and responsible ways to take care of that woman. And it always has to include you assimilating her into your family, not providing her own situation. That's going to get you in trouble in your marriage. First off, let me spit something real to y'all. Do y'all not realize that if you are married, you also have a mother-in-law? Have y'all thought about that dynamic? Whose mother is moving in here, or you do all this shit for your mother, you don't let me do nothing for my. Have y'all not thought about that dynamic yet?
Trigger. Can I add something?
Messy. Go ahead, bro.
So to add what you just said, that's why families wanted sons, because like you said, we will have a mother-in-law, and then she'd be up to that mother-in-law's son to take care of her.
Yep.
But that's why men are so important. Go ahead. I mean, I just want to bring in why you were saying that.
Brother Trig, let me ask you this. What you just described, is that an anomaly, or is that what you would consider that is enough that you can know it can be spoken on? Is that the majority?
Which part exactly?
The last part that you was just saying.
The dynamic between the mother and the mother-in-law take care of? Absolutely. I would say that even applies to people that aren't married and living together. So as your parents age, they're going to start to pull on the children. And the reason why we need to acknowledge it is because of what John said. Mothers prefer to go to their sons. I mean, I'm not going to throw my sisters under the bus, but my mom has basically always said, I would never live with either of them two. What does that default to? Me and my brother. You see what I'm saying? So most mothers will never want to live with their daughters. Stop the cap. They always want to be under the protection of their sons. They know their sons will go the extra mile for them. They know their sons are probably better off financially, more likely to be married, more likely to have a stable home, like stuff like that. They don't want to live with their daughters. You know, that's a contentious relationship some of the time anyway. So
even if he makes less, they know more than likely he's probably more responsible too.
Well, not only that, women are the ones who are peeing on the goalposts, man. They can't live with their grown daughters. They just can't.
Yep.
I mean, so I see that. But you know what, in the end, though, it's funny how daughters like to live around where their mothers are. They like, well, not necessarily in the house, but they like to be in the same town where their mothers are. So a lot of guys who get married, they end up getting married in the same town where her mother is.
They do distant hugging. They don't hug.
Anyway, that's enough.
They
go ahead,
from the distance.
I didn't mean to derail you, man. You're on a roll, man. I agree with lots of stuff what you're saying.
All right. Let's just go around. Mr. Ikene, what do you got? What is a responsible way to take care of your mom? Oh, you on mute.
The responsible way to take care of your mom is this. First, the way it's done culturally is that you need to take care of your mom before a woman arrives. That is why it's incumbent on a man to marry in his 30s, not in his 20s. Because if you see how it's done in our culture and also how it's done in most culture or how it's supposed to be done, a man is done with college by the age of 25. So between 25 and 32, you're supposed to have grown financially. And in your growth, in your financial growth, you're able to be able to take care of your parents while you grow. Then when you get married, now you can move most resource to your immediate family. Whereas you're still taking care of your parents, but in a more subtle way, not in full throttle way like you used to before your marriage. So I would say one of the best ways to take care of your mom is number one, be able to provide what you can. Because your parents, like I said earlier, are supposed to have had certain things uh before before that's when you were growing up. And number two, taking care of your parents is not usually financial. Financial taking care of your parents might be when if your parents don't have any kind of financial capital, that becomes more tricky. But if your wife and your mom should be fighting over position, no, your mom have to sit back because she was a mother in her husband's house, so she can't be occupying her husband's house and also occupying your wife's space at the same time. It's not proper. It's not good. Then I don't see why any of us should allocate a huge time to our mothers. You shouldn't start that mother-son relationship. Your mom is somebody you can see maybe once a month, talk to on the phone every other night or three times a week. But if your mom is sick, it's a whole to do different thing altogether. But if she's healthy, two times, three times a week discussion that will last anywhere between 10 and 30 minutes is okay. Seeing her two times a month or three times a month is okay. But she shouldn't take a place of your wife. So I don't think that it's proper to allocate equal time to your mom and your wife.
All right. Ashton, what is a responsible way to take care of your mom? No, we can't hear you. We'll come back to you, bro. Yeah, yeah. Your sound cut out. All right, Mr. Rich, go ahead.
Uh, I like what you said. I agree with what you're saying, mostly in terms of how you take care of your mom. I would be thinking, my mother-in-law passed away. My actual birth mother has been passed away since I was 8 years old, and my stepmother passed away as well. But my mother-in-law was alive until like 5 years ago. She passed away, but I was already thinking because her husband died. So I was already thinking with my wife what we're gonna do with her because she was having trouble getting around. So at some point, I know we were going to get into a discussion about moving her in. I was never thinking about buying her another house. She already had a house, but she couldn't maintain it. She's by herself. So now I'm at the age, it's funny, I fill out my, I'm old enough now, I got to be on Medicare, right? I had to put the damn paperwork in. I said, God damn, I'm getting old, man. 65 years old coming up. And so my wife is in her 60s. I got two daughters. And so I'm thinking, what's going to happen if I go before my wife? How should I set things up where she gets taken care of? Now, she could take care of herself. However, in the house we live in, I don't think she needs to be maintaining something like this. Do I have to set up something where she might move in with my daughters? They're both unmarried. You know, uh, who I give power of attorney to? What are the kind of things I need to do for the future? Just, planning that out. So if I'm the man, it ain't gonna be no men around because if I'm gone, there ain't no men around. So what kind of decisions do they make? Do I try to navigate past that because the chaotic nature of women? I'm not so sure I can trust them to do the right thing without me around. right? So it's just a conversation. So getting back to the point. So what's the responsible way of taking care of your mom? Since neither I don't have a mother left, neither does my wife. What can I do to put my daughters in position to do the right thing for their mother? You know, and I think that's a conversation I'm thinking in my head. You know, because most likely they say the man's going to go first and all that, and maybe it's years away. I think, hopefully, but you still need to be prepared. If I want to get prepared, I need to start getting prepared now, not when I'm 70, not when I'm 75. If I get there, so I mean, so this is not just because of this conversation we're having here. It's something that people who are viable need to start thinking about when they get to older age, right? Because I'm way past the halfway point, and you know, how do we do that? So I had some ideas in my head, and if I had some sons, this is the kind of conversation I would have with them. What do you do with your mother when I'm gone? If I go first, right? So it's a deep conversation, and I like what you said. But certainly, buying a house is not one of the options. It's certainly not one of the options. If I had to buy another house with a wing on it, or a house with property where I could buy a mother-in-law, a mother's home, right? Even if I had both mother-in-laws alive, if I had the wherewithal, I could buy a property where they might have to both move in together in that separate property or that separate house on the property, something like that. Anything, you know. So there's a lot of different ways you can go besides just buying her a house, which is a liability. So you know, it's a good discussion. I don't have the answer, but there's probably many answers that's better than just buying her a house. But that's all I have.
I'm ready,
All
Mike.
right. All right, Ashton. Go ahead. You got the
Mike,
floor.
you heard the last couple of people answers and their responses for what they'll do. And I mean, basically, we know what to do with our parents and our mothers. Correct? I mean, that's what I take from it.
I think we all have an idea of what we would do,
But but
or yeah. Go ahead.
but what's the topic about? Single mothers expect their sons to buy them a house. So y'all basically showing why they get these men up out this house so they can take all the credit. Am I right or am I wrong? Just, that's what it sounds like to me.
Wait.
Cause
If
all
I'm
us up here,
okay, go ahead.
we basically know what to do with our parents or our mama, and we all men. We basically just agreed on the same thing. It's what 10 of us up here.
Yeah.
So that's exactly why these women getting these men up at these houses and taking all the credit because they know they don't they don't need a house, but you wouldn't want a house. But if she kick your ass out that house, then she take full responsibility. She take all the praise, and
Yeah.
that's just
I'm not.
my
I'm not
take.
sure that scales, bro. They don't know what the hell they're doing. That's why they can't maintain functional relationships. That's what it has.
Trigger Mike. Sorry, Ashton.
That too, Mike. That too.
Sorry, Ashton. I think the wording of your question is confusing. Because I'm reading out your chart, I think the wording of the question is confusing. That is why most of us are not giving specific
Okay.
answers. I think you're supposed to be asking what happened. What should a man do with his mother after his dad is no longer there? Right? I think that
No,
would.
Most
we
most of them
already know
don't
what to
have that.
do.
Let me see.
Oh,
It's
okay.
the mothers who taking over and kicking the men out the house and taking full credit and throwing it up in they. I have never heard a daddy say, "Oh, all I done for you," where he have, but he didn't expect nothing in return.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
they don't.
it
If we're talking about this particular context, I want y'all to understand something very clearly because I'm reading the chat. I don't even know what the hell people are talking about. As far women stay with their husbands. As a matter of fact, let me just y'all can answer both questions. I'm gonna bring up the next question and I'm gonna answer this one as well. Should a married couple, meaning a
We ain't
mother?
did the first question yet. Okay.
Yeah,
I
no, I'm
wanna
saying y'all
answer
can
this,
do.
brother
Yeah,
Trick.
y'all can do both. I'm gonna just because
Okay.
he's asking about it. Should a married couple accept a new home from their son that just got drafted in the NFL in professional sports? And to this question, the answer is no. So
No.
me and my wife were talking about it yesterday. Your wife stays in the house. Her husband provides for her. and should only expect to be there. So a father should be like, son, I appreciate the gesture. At some point when I'm no longer able to function and you want to, but I'm not going to accept an upgrade that I didn't provide. The reason why I always use the word imbalance is that most people don't understand that this is not the way it's supposed to work. Go look at all of the professional athletes that aren't black and ask where their parents stay in the same house they dad bought. That they don't want that shit, because what's going to happen is we don't ever talk about it this way. If your children become your provider, you are no longer their parent in their eyes. I will never put myself in a position to where I cannot impart knowledge and wisdom on my children because they became the parent. If you let your child buy you a house, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Mike, why can't it be called a gift? Why can't it be a gift?
It can't be a gift of that magnitude. It's not it
You
no
got
it,
30,
I
you
want to
signed
answer this question, please. Can
$37.5
I
million
answer the
dollars.
question real
Yeah,
and
quick?
who came in with
yeah.
you?
Please,
I
let's keep
think
going. Let's keep going. Let's keep
Smith
going.
I
is
Let's
want to
keep
speaking.
answer the
going.
question.
All right,
Come
y'all,
on, let's
goddamn,
keep going.
All right. So real quick, I'm gonna make this quick. So look, right? Maybe I'm an anomaly, but the reason why I don't even think about these things is because my mother has something called a husband, which is my father. So me having to take care of anything, you know what my peoples tell me? They say, Mike, you know how you can look out for us? When I send them money and they send it back, they said, nah, we just want to go to our dying bed knowing that we did a good job. I just want to know my son can take care of himself.
Yep,
I'm fine.
yep.
And I have yet to hear that yet. The fact is, the things that we keep talking about we got to do for mom, I think we're missing something here. That's what dad does.
Yep.
Dad does that. My mother don't have to worry about nothing because of her husband.
Period.
That's what he's
So
supposed to do.
they're in a position to where, I can go ahead. Yes, I can have my home, everything. Mom's just come through and stop by and check on me, bring me food and groceries and stuff at times, because I can't drive right now, obviously. So, she'll just come through and look out for me. And you know something? The more that I'm independent and the more that I do for myself, the more she almost presses herself for me to do for me because I'm not needy, because I'm not always hitting her up. I barely do. When I call her, I'm calling to ask, what can I do for you? And she looks at me like I'm crazy.
Smitty, can I
Smitty,
ask you a question? Can I
I
ask
got a
you a question
question.
real
No,
All
we
quick?
right.
gotta keep.
No, no,
I,
No,
I'm
I
gonna,
mean,
I'm gonna
just
be
I
real
wanted to
quick.
say that. That was my response. I digress. My mic is
Well,
muted. Trigger
well,
mic to show
Y'all
show.
to answer two
I
questions before
digress.
we got to. Y'all answer two questions before we got to one. We ain't got to the first one yet.
quick question, Smitty. What do you tell the young
Hold
brother
on.
that doesn't have the father? Like, what would you tell him about what a, a good way to invest in his mom or dad? Just
I
let's
would
say they
tell
don't
that
have
I
that.
would
You
I
know what
would
I'm saying?
tell that brother to go seek an elder who came up like you. I don't have your experience, so I don't feel that I'm the best qualified. So I would just direct this brother to someone who's more qualified to give him that information. I'm not qualified, and I'm not about just giving answers just to sound smart.
Smithy, I disagree to
What are
your
we
answer, but
doing?
I'll
What are
no,
we
address
no,
doing?
I'll
no, no,
address
no.
it
I,
later.
So,
I will
so
address it
I
later.
want
good
to get
answer.
to.
Good
I
answer.
want to get to
Yeah,
the. I want to get to the question too.
He asked me, I gave my
No, no,
answer.
no. I'm not. I'm
good
not. I'm
answer.
not. I know. I
You
got you. I
disagree?
got you. I
That's
got you.
fine. That's
No,
cool.
no, no.
No, no,
Your
no.
answer
No,
is okay, but
let's
I'm
not
gonna
argue that
address it
point.
later.
Let's
I will
move.
address it later. I will address.
Well, when we come back to you, go ahead. Next, who's next?
I think it's on King Spark.
Hey, Spark.
I don't see no problem with it, man. I mean, signing bonuses now is like $37.5 million. Like, why not? Your mama bought you every damn thing, all your drawers, all your socks, all your food. Throw a bone. You balling. You rich. You in the 1%. I'm type if I'm in the 1%, we all in the 1%. But I don't think it should be. I just don't like the narrative of rely on or responsible for or anything like that. I don't think it should be none of those words. But you as a man know when you get to a certain level when you can start sharing, right? And when you get to that level, share. That's all I got.
All right, John the Baptist.
So to the first question, what's the best way for a son to take care of a mother? Well, the best way is to go back for the mother to be married to her husband, and her husband or his father builds and saves and buy a house and retirement and insurance plans. And so therefore when both the parents get older, they not at least they're not a financial burden to the kids. So therefore if the son now has what the father created, the wealth that the father created, or the retirement plan, want to call it what you want to call it, the son could afford to buy a house with an extra with a mother-in-law room on it, or maybe mother-in-law two extra rooms in the house, where maybe his parents and her parents can move in if need to be, as they begin to age. Because there's nothing wrong with, as in older days we have multiple generations living in one home, because is in society it's up to the kid to take care of the parents. But it's not excuse for parents to be fruitless. I mean, to be fraudulent with their money and their life and expect their kids to carry the burden in the end. So if a woman was married, listen to her husband, work with her husband. They got a savings, a house. They can now sell their house, move in with their son, give the money to their son, and their son can provide for them financially. To the second question that you asked, if a son or someone made it to the pros and got a large sum of money, should he buy their parents a house? Nah. If I'm able-bodied working, if my son would have made it to NFL, whatever the case is, I don't want him to upgrade me. What I want my son to do is to continue to build. Although he's going to build way more than I'm going to build, what I want my son to do is take what I've created. We're going to create a trust for it. Now, when I die and move on, and your mom, when we both die and move on, we're going to create a family trust, and we're going to continue to stack on top of that wealth. Whether he makes it to NFL or doesn't make it to NFL or NBA, whatever the case is, we continue to build, because it's not your job to take care of me. So if you come into a large sum of money, no, I make it off the lifestyle that I built. You want to give us a trip every now and then, I'll take a trip every now and then, but my son is not going to be responsible for taking care of me.
All right. So, are you done, John?
I'm
That's
done.
what that
Okay.
responsible word.
So I think,
I
am
just
I
want to
going
jump
or
in there
AP?
because I haven't answered yet.
Okay.
Go ahead, AB.
On the first question, what is a responsible way to help your single mom, single dad? Me, I look at it like this. First, I've already done assessments, I've already had assessments done, and I'm already buying land. And on that land, if it's a single mom, I'm already going to put an extra home, not a giant home, but a home that accommodates my mom on the land that I own. And I'm of course going to get my own house put on that. Also, what I will do is put money back in escrow, and when she gets to the point to where she needs the real help, the money that's put back in escrow will be for her assisted living, so that she can be taken care of properly when when she can no longer really take care of herself. On the second part, should a married couple accept a new home from their son? What I will say is, a son from a two-parent household most likely is taught, take care of yourself, take care of your family. They're most likely not taught, hey son, when you make it, hook me and your mama up, because I don't think that's the way dads move. I think that being guided under a two-parent household is best, and I don't think that he likely would even purchase a home for both parents, because again, the dad didn't teach him that way, didn't raise him that way. And I'll mute my mic.
All right.
Okay.
Humble. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Yeah,
You can answer either question. We kind of flip flop on this one.
that's fine. For me, I'll say I have four siblings. Me making five. The best way I can take care of my own parent is, because right now they're in the state. They live with me and my brother. My brother. I live on my own side. My brother live by have his own family. I have my own family. The best way we can do it, I got 3 siblings back home in Africa. The best way we can do it is spend time with your grandkids. When you spend time with me for 6 months or 3 months or four, you go to my brother's house. Spend time with the grandkids over there. Then you fly down to Africa. You can spend time with the other grandkids. So when you're tired of Africa, you come back to the state. That's the vacation because they're all retired. So that is the best way I know I can take care of my own parents. I ain't buying no house. Dad already have a house. That's fine. You come with your husband, my father, my mother. They stay with me for some few months. Play with the kids. Stretch their nerves a little bit. Piss them off a little bit. Go back to the next sibling. That's how I know I can take care of my own parents. That's it.
I
All
don't
right.
think some of
Okay.
y'all will buy y'all mama a sandwich after listening to y'all.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what, King Smart? You don't say no shit like that, then go off cam. Bring your ass back up here. I
King
don't
This
think
Spat,
this is
King
about.
Spat, King Spat, King Spat. Nah, King
Most
Spat.
of the
To
stuff.
fly, check him out, please. To fly my parents to Africa cost economy cost 1,200. 1,200. I just want to put that out there.
No, 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 no. That's dope. I'm just saying, like, people are emphatically like, hell no, hell no. Like, it just sound
I don't
weird.
think I don't
It
I
just
don't think
sound
that's
weird
what
to
was
me.
I don't think that's what we're saying. I don't
Nobody
think
said
so.
that. Nobody
Y'all
said that at
forgetting
all.
it. But in the example, the dude is rich. That
Dude,
don't count.
Okay. Kiss Park, let me say this real quick. My dad, right, has a house in Nigeria, had a house in Nigeria before he passed away this January. And you know what I tried to do? I tried to tear down my dad's house and build a house in it, a bigger house, right? You know what my dad said to me? Hell no, you're not doing that. He said, build a house next to my house, but not on the house that I built. A man's pride is to see the labor of his work. A good man's pride, not a man's pride, because some men don't have morals. And well, you know what that taught me? That I should never let anybody tear down a house I built for my family to raise my family. Men don't like doing that. They don't like you bringing down their sweat. So, most of the time, they don't mind you renovating their house. You can renovate the house, but don't tear down the structure. So, the compromise my dad did was okay, renovate the house, do changes, but don't bring down my structure. So I had to then, my younger brother, end up doing some changes because I ended up building a house on the side, right? A bigger house on the side for everybody. That's how things are done. But for your mother, like okay, to answer what Smitty was saying before, if a man that never grew up in a two-parent house comes to you, Smitty, right, for advice, I will say advise him. Don't send a blind man to another blind man to advise him. That's catastrophic. That's the problem we have today in the society. Men being raised in single family home, going back to men that are raised in single family home to get advice on what to do in a two-parent household. It's not gonna happen.
Brother Enike, real quick. I think, all right, so let me help y'all out. It's almost like somebody who wants to go to the military. I've never
Mhm.
been to the military. You know who I would send them to? I'd probably send them to Brother Trigger Mike. Trigger Mike has been in the military.
That-
See, if a young brother, if he asked me, like, if a young brother was like, I want to get out the gangs, how should I go about that? I don't, that's not my field, is all I'm saying. Single
yes,
family, broken homes, that's not my field.
I
I don't know
understand.
that life. Do you get what
I
I'm
understand.
saying?
Yeah,
So
exactly
hold on,
one hundred
wait.
percent.
So I'm not, hold on, wait. I'm almost done. I'm landing my plane. So all I'm saying is that I'm not sending them to another blind person. No, I'm going to send them to a seasoned vet, someone who's older, someone like my brother, like right here with the polo. I might send them like someone there or something, someone who knows, someone who probably runs a program or something for younger, disenfranchised youth and things of that nature. But that's not my field. I know order. I know curfew. I know discipline. I know two family household. I don't know dysfunction. That's not my world. It's never been. My
I, I,
parents made
I
sure that that was never my circumstance. That was never my
guess
vision.
what?
So
I
why would
got
I not send them to someone? Hold on, I'm landing it. Why would I not send them someone? I'm not talking about somebody who's going through it and hurt. I wouldn't send a crackhead to a dope fiend who's still shooting dope.
Mhm.
Do you see what I'm saying? But I will send them to somebody who's fully recovered, maybe 15, 20 years in the game. They got sponsorships and everything else. I will send them there. That is what I'm saying. I digress.
Now
My
you
mic is
see,
muted.
now you made that point clear, because you know what you said initially got a lot of people confused. You see what I'm saying?
I just
Which
didn't
I
want to talk
believe.
too long. I'm working on that.
I
Good,
wasn't
good, good,
confused
good,
at all, bro.
good.
I
No, no,
understand
no.
what you were
But
saying.
but guess what? You might have gotten it AP, but there are people on that chat that didn't get it. I may have gotten where I knew where it was heading to, because one thing I like to do in life is clarification. You have to clarify so that way people, not everybody understand what you say, but they will be like, yeah, I got you, but they don't get you. You see what I'm saying, right? So that is why it's good that he said, I'd rather send him to someone that has recovered in the last 20 years, someone that has recovered in the last 15 years. That is beautiful, because that person has experience on both sides. He has experience of being from a single family home, but now he or she has a two-parent household that he's raising. So now somebody has taught him something that he's teaching the next generation. That's a recovered person. So that is what I'm trying to say. But for mothers, right? It is not good to have a separate house. Just to add to what you guys just said, I would rather have my mom live with me in a house that I can add 1 or 2 rooms to the house to expand so that she can live there, or maybe my wife's parents can live there. Because I discussed the same thing with my wife one time. She was like, "Oh, her parents have to. Can her parents buy a new?" I said, "No. If they don't have it now, let them live in the house by building extra 1 or 2 rooms so that they can attach to them and live there." Because what happened is this: time has gone for them to start building a house in their 60s,
Let me get a Lisa. Let me get a
70s.
thumbs up so I know she.
That doesn't make any economical sense. And I got to put this finally. Please, if you are an athlete and you got that $20 million signing contract, do not buy your parents a house. The reason why I said don't buy your parents a house is this: when you start buying your parents' house, you start creating more financial burden to yourself. And you can't save. That is why most athletes become broke, because they buy their parents' house, buy their parents' Mercedes, they start buying all this and all that. Because once you buy one thing, you have to buy a whole lot of things.
Yep.
So your parents, you shouldn't buy them any financial, you shouldn't put any huge capital or financial investment in their lives. No, they should come
But real
live with
quick,
you,
brother,
because
I'm
in
just
my
confused. What happened to parents saying, I raised my kids to be better than me? So what is to be better than me? That means that we may have came up maybe middle class. I want you to be upper middle class at bare minimum. The way that I'm raising my child to excel and make and do and of course have those foundations and those disciplines. But I'm just trying to figure this out. Like, I remember parents saying, no, 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 no. The best thing you can do for me is to take our teachings and capitalize on that.
No, that's 100% fact.
Smithy,
Like
I'm
where
sorry.
that
Let me
go?
just give one. Let me just give a 10 second. Let me just
Hold
give
on.
a 10 second response. 10 second. This is my 10 second response. Do you know what is killing America? People are not buying 1 acre of land. People are not buying 2 acre of land. If you start buying one, I'm sorry, let me just give final answer. If you just buy 1 acre or 2 acre of land, do you know what you do on those 1 acre or 2 acre of land? You build a whole family community, a house where your parents can live with you. That's how we do in Nigeria. When we build house in Nigeria, we build a house on our parents' land.
Real quick,
will say,
let me just say this,
go ahead.
Sugar Mike. Listen, even if you wanted to buy your mother a house, right? You don't have to put it in her name. The property could still be yours. And if you have the proper, and we're talking exceptions, not the rule.
Yeah.
Somebody signs a $100 million contract or something like that. You want to put your mother in a property, a house, don't put it in her name. You keep it. And as far as your economics, if you have the right advisors, they'll tell you that here's what the expense is going to be on that property year to year to year to year to year. And you have to take all of that into account. So we shouldn't talk in absolutes. We should talk in what's the regular average guy gonna do? He's gonna probably do something stupid economically. But
Yep.
let's just say this guy has the right advisors. And economic, you hit it. You could buy property, you could build a house, you could put your mother in it, but you don't have to put it in her name. It's still yours. The liability is yours. All that stuff is yours. She's just living in it. That is an option, right? So you don't lose sight of the fact that you have this property that you bought a piece of land, and buying the piece of land, whether she's on it or not, is you can't argue buying real estate is a bad thing, even if you have to pay for it for a time being, because there's a life expectancy for your mom. You're just taking care of her. So I'm just saying there's exceptions. We can't be so one-sided. I mean, but the guys might do it stupidly, but you could also do it from intellectual and a business
Yeah, in a
standpoint as
responsible
well.
way.
That's all
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say.
All right. Is it Litsa? Please tell me how to say your name.
But can you hear me? My service on my end is a little
We got
No,
you.
it sounds
Oh,
pretty
we can
good
hear you
on our
very
end.
well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay, perfect.
Let's get your thoughts
So,
on it.
yeah, I was just driving and I, logged into the live and I was like, I actually have a really good opinion about this that I realized that no one really touched on. And
Okay.
so the question is, would you buy your mom a house when you get older? And I guess coming from a woman perspective, and having my own parent, specifically my own mother, I think what the best advice I would give my mother is more so, how do you take care of yourself so then you're not laying the responsibility on me by default to take care of you? And what I mean is this: I've looked at my grandmother her whole life, and pretty much all of her actions have led up to that one moment. I mean, to this very moment where now she's battling breast cancer. Why? Because she smoked, she
Sorry
drank.
about that. Sorry about that.
Oh no, well, yeah, I get it. I view things a little differently because I do believe a lot of things are like self-inflicted and we create our own suffering. So how I'm
Yeah.
seeing it is I tell my mom every day, like, hey, let's go to the gym together because my mom is a little overweight, for example, and which can pose, health issues along the line. So for me, I'm like telling my mom to get her mind right, her physicality right. That's the best thing I can do for my mother, to her to get her finances in order, teaching her how to be financially smart and literate. That's the best thing I can do for my mom. So when she gets to a certain age, I've seen 70-year-olds who can literally bench more than me. And I go to the gym every single day. I lost about 100 pounds, and I didn't, once I lost 100 pounds, I didn't realize how much health plays a role. A lot of the times we're taking care of our parents because they're doing a lot of self-inflicted harm on them. So what is it that we can do as the new age and the new generation to
Yeah.
help our current parents who maybe necessarily didn't have the resources or, things in front of them
So
to,
that's a
I don't
great question. And
Yes, it is.
one of the things that I've noticed in the discussion today is that we kind of got to admit nobody has been wrong. This is just a
yeah,
matter of methods. Nobody has been wrong in their approach. But if we're going to be realistic, we have to understand that everything you just outlined is ideal. That is when, if we were all going to sit here and say, this is what is ideal, then yeah, we would talk about that. But we are dealing with underlying issues as to why that didn't happen. Because think about it this way: we're already wrong if we're trying to put our parents in position because they didn't. They were supposed to do that for themselves.
right,
You see what I'm saying? So culturally, we're screwed up already. We're
right.
sitting here trying to I watched CNN about uh it was on a CNN special on why the most evicted people in the US, and it ended up being black women. And a black woman came up there to defend, and somehow they got on the topic of blacks are broke because the ones that are educated and the ones that do make it have to go back and help everybody else, and they actually do that. That is
Mm,
why that is a significant barrier to the wealth growth of educated, well-to-do black people is that they got to help so many people that did not make it that it ends up becoming a detriment to them. So yes, idealistically, you're absolutely right. Now, the other point I want to make on that is because we have all those underlying issues, it takes away their ability to listen to us. We have, unfortunately, in the black community, the most entitled poor people in the world.
Mm.
Literally, you will be sitting here. Everybody on this panel can detail you an example about how they did just that. You went to someone who didn't have. I made a promise to myself as an alpha man and as an honorable, compassionate
I'm an
dude.
AKA.
Bet that I'm no longer going to tell someone, hey, you could do it too, bro. I'm going to say, meet me here at this time. I'm going to give you the blueprint on how I did it. They don't want that. They wanted the handout. They wanted me to give them a check of something I earned. That's what they actually want. When you try to actually give solutions, actually give them a way for them to create it for themselves, they will spit in your face more than likely. I'm telling you, everybody here can detail an occurrence where that happened to them.
When I was when I a lot of my next generation after me, when they started graduating high school, a lot of people were giving them money. I was passing out Dave Ramsey Total Money Makeover, and everybody hated me because I wouldn't give money. We don't, like you said, they don't want solutions. They just want handouts. They don't want any ideas that make you think different. They just want handouts. And people, and so we have to stop doing this. Okay, it's not my responsibility to save my mom and my dad. I'm not your lifeline. Now, because I'm responsible, I will do the best I can for you. But I need for you to create your own. And then when you create your own, then I just sustain your own as you get older. And I'll make sure that yours don't run out to the end of your life. I will be a steward of what you created to make sure it lasts for you in your old age. We cannot expect our kids to carry us. They should
Yeah,
help us.
it wasn't designed to be that way. That's what I'm trying to like. Are we
Well,
missing this? Did we forget that? It
no,
was designed to continuously, evolve and continuously grow. And it was supposed to continuously be something that we all benefit from because my parents taking care of me the way they did and them being frugal, not cheap, frugal. My mother made more than enough money to make sure that like I could have the latest, like, well, when I was coming up, Eddie Bauer, starter, things of that nature, Jordans, back when I was coming up as an 80s baby. But I could get all of those things. But you know what? She didn't keep us cheap, but she kept us very, very frugal. She kept us in a very humble state as far as how we spent our finances. And to what brother Enike was saying earlier, I do agree with that as far as the generational part because my parents were frugal because they went about life a certain way. I literally go about it the same way. And guess what? Yes, I own my home. All I have is property tax and utilities. I make sure I keep that in order. And that's why I have extra money to go ahead and make sure my daughter can do violin. She can do her soccer practice. She can do all of these things. And I don't have to worry about anything when it comes to it because of the way my parents brought me up. And I think that we need to really exercise these methods and I mean, so when people try to say, oh, you old, this is back in the day, nuclear families, now all of this, like I just be looking at them like you just have no idea of the destruction and the very, very short longevity that you're preaching right now. Nothing that you're preaching is of longevity in generations to come. It's of right now. It's about you right now. And that's why it all comes crashing down. It does. I digress. My mic is muted.
It's
And we
funny to
should we
me.
should we should we
Let's
should
get
look
EBD
at it.
in
We should
there.
look at it when one generation leaves to the next generation. It don't mean that you spend it all either. It mean it goes into a trust for the generation that comes after you to the third generation. We have to stop spending everything that's like whatever your mother and father built. If they pass it down to you, don't spend it all. Leave something. Build a trust. Pass it down to the third generation.
We don't
Then
spend it,
third.
we sell
I
it.
was
We
about to say.
sell it. We don't keep it.
I
We
was about
That's
to
sell
correct.
it.
say.
We don't
That's
even
what I
know
I
how
meant.
was
to
about to say.
keep property and land. My
Jonathan.
grandfather was in the Korean War out there in St. Stephen's Church, Virginia. I still have land property. He left it to my mother. Guess who was left it? My mother said, "Nah, I want you to go ahead." I could put a trailer
All right.
out there, the pond out back,
Hey,
cornfield, everything. It was
y'all
left,
speaking
and we
facts.
refused to sell it. We keep getting people trying to buy it. We refuse to sell it. We're keeping it in the family. You can't have it.
Hey,
This will
bro,
be passed
Hey,
down.
that's the way it's supposed to go. But John, you speaking to the wrong generation. If you talking about save something for generate, they won't save it for 6 hours. How long does the black dollar circulate in the black community? They won't
Yeah,
mhm.
save it
yeah.
for hours. Forget saving it for generations. EBD, go ahead, bro.
All right, so
That's
just
what we should do though. But you're
Of
right.
course,
yeah,
of course.
yeah. So
Idealistically, I agree.
I think what I'm hearing right now, I caught monologue and I missed a whole bunch because I had to go vote and all that and then get lunch. But from what I'm hearing now is, I mean, the question would be, what a professional or a professional athlete who acquires like all the wealth and money that comes with that, should he buy his mom a house? I mean, the default answer was yes for the longest time. Now that we're talking about what he should do instead, because property, money, and things is finite, but the bills can last forever, right? Can outlast your career. So I would say when you have that kind of stupid money from a contract, from an athletic point of view, the first thing I wouldn't do is go buy your parents' house. The first thing I would do is build them a business and talk to them about opening a business in their name. That way they can generate the revenue. And then it doesn't matter what house they want to live in. They can just go buy it themselves. I would set them up for financial security. If I have stupid money, I would set them up for financial security via a business that they both can run and operate every single day, and everybody can, manage something from a computer these days. Or if they want to do brick and mortar, they do brick and mortar, right? So anything that they want to do that they can just see themselves doing forever, which every kind of parent kind of does have an idea in mind, but never the money to execute that idea. So yeah, you give them a business that they want to do, that they want to start. You invest in that business, become an investor rather than Santa Claus, because Santa Claus doesn't get much of anything but cookies and milk. You worked your ass off in order to acquire like a top tier percentage of money that your generations in your family had no complete access to or opportunity to even make. So yeah, you have a
EBD.
responsibility to kind of like disperse it as far as an investment in your family to build a business so that they can go on and sustain income that way rather than just give it out.
EBD. Why do you hate your parents?
You know what's funny? So even with what EBD said to listeners,
Can I answer the question?
That was no
EBD try
question.
to put his parents to
Can
work.
I answer the question?
That was
Y'all
just a
ass got to
joke. That
go
was just a
back to
joke.
work.
That was
Y'all
just a joke.
66 and
It was funny
67.
too.
God,
Can I
he
answer
yelled a bit. Go ahead.
Can I answer the question? Yeah. For me, I'm not gonna I'm gonna retire my parents. They're gonna have
That
fun.
was just a joke, man. I was just
No,
joking.
no, John the Baptist. I know it's a joke. For me, what I'm gonna say, because I already said it before, they will have time because they don't have much time to live on earth. They will have time to spend with the grandkids and travel. That's it. No business. I'm gonna open business in my name and fund their vacation. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open business in my name so that I can fund that vacation they're gonna be, because they're gonna be traveling everywhere. So that's it. I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now. I'm not
Even
just
even
saying it. I
All
am
right, let
doing
me
it
ask this
right
question.
now.
All right, let me
Can
ask
I
this
ask you
question.
something? Has your parents ever said to you the only thing that we really want is to know that you can take care of yourself? I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
asking, has your parents put it on you like, yeah, we look, you get that
Well,
bag, if you
I
land that deal,
no, I have a caveat to that because he's Nigerian, just
go
like
ahead,
I
go
am.
ahead. Go
Your
ahead, brother
father at
Trey. Go
some
ahead.
point, your father at some point is going to tell you his expectations of what he expects you to do with his wife. Because when my father, it's really interesting how my father has used his wife and your mother interchangeably in my life, like to tell me exactly what frame of mind he wants me to put this in. Sometimes he won't say your mother as if I'm in charge of what goes on. He said, "This is what I want you to do with my wife.
My wife.
I bought this house. You will have life insurance when I die. You have the water factory in Nigeria. You have blah blah blah. You sell that." And he's like, "If you go there, you have to take my wife so they don't try to kill you to assume the records." And shit like that. So he was very detailed, and I feel like naturally we're suffering from a father's deficiency. But yeah, fathers will tell you exactly what to do, and that's why I think it's important that we don't undercut them with what we want to do. Because I feel like some people will overstep with the money they do have. Not you, but I'm just saying. So I want y'all to jump in
That's
on
what
this.
I was
You
alluding
kind
to.
I want
you
y'all to
kind of
jump in on this.
you
Hold on
kind of
real quick.
touched on something regarding like the father
He trying to move
deficiency.
on, AP. AP
Uh,
trying to move on.
Go ahead
oh,
real
I'm
quick,
sorry.
AB.
No, it was just kind of what you just touched on when you were talking about the father deficiency, and I wanted to say to Smitty also, um, you were fortunate. There's too many of us that aren't fortunate to have both the mom and the dad in the home. So whenever I get on panels like this, I'm typically trying to talk to the person that doesn't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
And like you guys were highly fortunate growing up.
Yeah.
Really.
But I
We're
think that
not.
we
And I
cast
We're
really
us
not.
mean that.
aside.
We're
I
not.
I
I
don't
really
think
we're
mean
that
not.
that.
we
We're
try
not.
to highlight. You know what I noticed? We always want to highlight from athletes, rappers, everything. We never want to highlight the ones that come from a nuclear family, a two-parent
Absolutely.
household, those who actually had college money and everything else. We always try to like kind of water that down and push it to the side.
No,
We
you
always
know
want
what?
to highlight, the
Smitty,
dysfunction. If
You
you ain't
kind of
come
right.
from beans in the fridge and a bottle of mustard and baking
No,
soda, then
Smitty,
you don't know black. You not black. Nah,
hey,
get out of here with that.
nah,
You
listen, you
know,
kind of right though because
like seriously,
one of the most they cut this so quick. I don't know what they love zooming in on the mama and I'm about my mama this, but
right?
one of the most like beautiful moments I've ever seen in the draft was when RJ Barrett got drafted. This boy turned into a little baby and just went like he didn't even have control of his hands and fell into his father's chair like, "Thank you, daddy. Thank you, boy."
That's right. That's
That
right.
boy fell into a
So
ball of
I
mush.
want
We
to
need to highlight that
They cut
more
from
because
that
you know
shit
what?
so quick. They cut from
I
that
want to
shit
dispel
so
I want to
quick.
dispel this
We
myth
need to
too.
highlight that more because there's more of that out here than we give credit to. And we try to make it seem like it's such a small percentage, but no, it's not. Because think about it. We say all the time in these spaces, it ain't that many Pookies and Ray Rays. No, majority of men, they do take care of things. They do. So why don't we highlight them? Why do we keep
So
highlighting the
All right, John,
degeneracy
real quick, and I'm
of
gonna
our
get you in there.
community?
I
John, real
want to
quick.
dispel I
Don't
want to
water it
dispel this myth.
down.
I want to
This,
dispel
I
this myth
speak
too,
that.
cause
all right, hold on, John.
I want to dispel this myth because I didn't grow up like Trick and I didn't grow up like Smitty. But I still share the same ideology. I didn't come from a two-parent home. I came from a single-parent home, and the single parent really still didn't raise me. I raised myself pretty much. So the ideology that just because you grew up poor in a single-parent home, don't mean you can't learn. You can still learn these lessons.
Oh,
No
absolutely.
one. So
Absolutely.
so so to kill that lie that just because I came from a single-parent home, I didn't see this. I don't understand this. Look for it. Learn it. Stop making excuses.
Bro,
All right.
like I
Let me
feel
get this
you,
next one.
but
Hold
I'm
on,
gonna
y'all,
tell
because
you
y'all
this.
will never let me get this next question out.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Go ahead.
oh,
Go ahead.
sorry,
Go
And
sorry
ahead.
about that.
this
Sorry
is
about that,
open
Trey.
discussion. This is open discussion. Because hold on, let me preface this. We talked a lot about a lot of idealistic stuff. We talked about a lot of athletes. That's not 99% of people at all. So we got to talk about the real. All right. So anybody can jump in on this. No play. I see you in the back. I'm gonna drop down so you can come up. And y'all chop it up. Please be respectful on this next question. How will the lack of marriage in the black community lead to bad situations for aging mothers in their care? All right,
I'll
let's
go
go.
last. I'll go last. I'll take it away.
We already see that. I mean, we don't need to go through. We already see the damage that's being done in the community by single mothers who are aging. And what makes it worse is the women who have means seem to feed more into that. The Kiki Palmers, all these women praising being single mothers, having babies out of wedlock. Now, we know they could take care of their kids without a man. However, that's still not the natural order of things.
Hold on real quick.
So, it's,
Sorry.
so
Hold on real quick. No play. You gotta. I think YouTube got something against smoking on cam. So I'll bring you back. Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that, Mr. Rich.
all right, that's all right. The point is, I'm not going to be too long on this. So we see the damage that's being done. And since we live in this culture where people look on social media and follow the crowd in these echo chambers, women think it's okay to have babies out of wedlock as opposed to having husbands. Like having a husband is a bad thing, but having babies, 7 babies by 20 different baby daddies is okay. And the math doesn't add up because they don't know half of the fathers of these kids.
Well,
So
damn, 20.
huh?
I said,
No,
well, damn, 20.
hey, listen, they don't know who the father is, so it's like 7 babies and 20 baby daddies. So the bottom line is, the way things are going, that's where we are. So the lack of marriage is. I'm an advocate for marriage, and it's funny. I had a conversation with Anton Daniels, and I don't know how I got into this because he was talking about not being married, and this guy has a whole wife who he freely talks about how beneficial being married to her is, and his daughter. And we were going back and forth. And so I'm gonna put out a post on my website talking about the conversation I had with him and the conversation I should have had with him.
We had
Well, can
You
can I
know, so
can I
the
go ahead.
so
conversation we had.
Hold on.
yeah. So it's a special thing because it seems like everybody's against marriage, except a few people out like me saying I'm an advocate for it because if we want to survive as I'm gonna land it here, we want to survive as a subculture of Black people in America. We have a crisis on our hand because we already see the scourge of single motherhood and absentee fatherhood on whatever is left of our multiple communities. We're being destroyed. We're being actually exterminated, and we're asleep at the switch. And so, anyway, because families counteract that. Now we're just a microcosm of the greater diaspora because there's a lot of different entities trying to destroy marriage across the board, not just with blacks, whites, and everybody else. We're just the first to go.
Okay, I'm
Anyway, so I'm gonna land it there.
Okay, so I'm gonna say
okay.
this, and I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'll be done with it. I won't take long. So what's gonna happen to mothers without marriage, women without marriage? What's gonna happen is we're gonna see that women will make money, and they will make medium salaries like men do. Some will get rich like some men do. And then when life happens like it does to everybody, because we're so individualistic, you're gonna see for 30, 40, 50, 100 years, hundreds of years, you've seen homeless men who've been on the streets when life happens. They had money, they had wealth, they had family, but something went wrong, and they was broke. So in the future, you're gonna start seeing more homeless women because they chose not to get married and build with a man. And it's just like what happened, but it's no different what happening to men. It's just now gonna start happening to women. And I'll let my plane now.
Okay, real quick. This topic kind of goes exactly back to what Smitty was talking about. Uh, we're putting more emphasis on the negative that happens than the positive. But I do want to say this though. And this is kind of back to the last point. I wanted to have a quick conversation with Smitty on it. But the truth is, from a person that was raised by a single mom's point of view, you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know, and to what you were saying, John the Baptist, just a moment ago, also, you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know what to go look for until I hit my 20s, bro. I personally, me personally, had no clue of what to look for or what the hell I was doing. I was that stereotype selling money, right? Blowing money that I didn't really have that I thought I had, right? Of course, I've gotten smarter and I've I've have a college education and I've kind of figured some things out on how to move. But you don't know what you don't know, which is why when I do talk, I'm speaking to those people that don't know what they don't know. You just don't. Now, when you know better, you do better, and part of doing better is to let the people that are behind you understand that there is a different and a better way and a smarter way. Now, regarding this lack of marriage in the black community leading to bad situations, we just spoke of how that's a minority, right? Most dads are in homes, right? Isn't that what we just said? So there are women, in my opinion, that we who try to move right, you just kind of got to leave behind. You got to not even talk to, you got to not acknowledge, and find exactly what it is as a man that you're looking for. And when you find that, that's when you try to build a home with that person and not, I don't want to call it Putin Quisha or whatever y'all call them, But you got to leave those. You got to leave those women alone. You just do. You got to not put put your thing in them. You gotta just let them go.
Put what? I'm sorry.
Man, I'm trying not to be vulgar on your show. You just gotta not bust them down or give them the attention that they want because
He got you, man.
their
He's right.
their favorite currency is attention.
Mm.
Once you remove the attention, then they will look for a different way to get it. And once you have a standard that they must meet as a man, once you have a standard that they must meet, and you only give the people that the attention that meet that standard, then those other women will follow suit or fall behind. That's really what I feel, and I mute my mic on that.
All right. Anybody? This is an open topic. Jump in. Where you fit in.
I just feel like not a lot
I think
of
I was
people are.
supposed to go earlier before everybody else, but go ahead.
No, go ahead. If you had something to say.
No, go ahead, EB.
No. I was gonna ask.
No, you got something on.
Yeah, just something real quick. I just think that there's a lack of full understanding and transparency about what a marriage is, what it takes to maintain one, what the ups and downs are, how you were supposed to communicate, how you were supposed to resolve your issues, who do you go to for counseling, children, who disciplines the children, who raises them, what is their education going to look like, what is what are your expectations, how do you discipline, who will be the discipline, like all of these things need to be hashed out during the dating phase of whoever you're gonna build a family with, so that you guys are on the same page from jump, right? I think that's what's missing. What's missing is the serious, hard conversations between a couple who may not have all the answers, but don't even have the conversations to talk about it. One person was raised this way, the other person was raised that way, and then it's just a consistent argument over who's right, who's wrong, whose way is better than the other way. And that's just it's just been a cluster F, because there's just divorce, right? Like one woman tells this man who was raised a certain way to discipline him, how he was disciplined, is passing on discipline to his child. This one woman says he's abusive, while the other woman says, well, my children need, discipline and structure, and why, it's too confusing, and it's not hashed out early in the beginning, right? There's just no, because business doesn't work this way, right? Business and relationships are different, but they're similar to the fact that two people come down to a table and hash out what they would like and what they expect to be, and how to and what happens if the deal is over, right? They even talk about the end of the deal. We don't even talk enough about the end of the relationship. We assume that happily ever after exists, and it doesn't. So there's just a lot of missing communication, a lot of negotiation, a lot of education, a lot of that's missing both in the beginning where it should happen. That's kind of what I add to it.
Let me bring this up from CBN. He talking crazy in the chat. He said, and this is why the Lakers will beat the Warriors in the second round. I just throwing heat in the conversation. First off, did you watch the Lakers? Did you watch the Lakers in Memphis? Yes, LeBron James is LeBron James. AD is whatever healthy looks like for AD. That's what he is right now. So that can change.
I ain't say nothing. I didn't say nothing.
That can change by the millisecond, as you know.
I didn't say nothing.
But they cannot beat realistically watching the Lakers play. Let me know that it didn't even matter if they won the first round or not, because they're not making it out the first round, no matter who they get next. They're not making it out. They don't have 3-point shooting enough. They don't got anything enough.
We're not making it past the first round. We already passed.
Nah. It's the bench they bench it, and
anybody else. If you get out of the first round, you're not making it past anybody else. Oh, this guy show your damn drapes. I don't know why you got them shit. I don't know why you got them.
What are we talking? What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Trigger Mike, you're gonna piss off a lot of Lakers on this channel. There's a lot of Lakers on this channel.
He just got real personal. He got real personal.
I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know where all this hate coming from. I don't know where this hate is coming from. I don't get this crap.
A lot of Lakers
I don't get time for the Lakers gonna have to take.
I don't get all this. I don't get all this hate. What's all this hate coming from?
What you guys drove the honey away, man? What's going on?
I
What
don't.
happened to y'all?
What's all this hate coming
We
from?
damn sure did. She was like, "Oh
We
God,
we we've been great for a long time. I mean, for a very very long time, we've been great.
Oh
I mean,
man.
ever since Showtime,
When
we've
did
been
a
great.
babyface assassin get his hand
oh,
on
here
your
we go.
asses, man?
All
That's
right,
all I want
let's
to know.
close this one out.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead, Ikene.
okay, check this out, right? Let me put it this way.
Oh,
The problem.
my God.
The problem in in our community is this, right? The problem in
What are
our
we
community
talking
has
about?
to deal with
What are we
the
talking
men,
about?
the men, the men, the men. Those men that will go and sleep with a woman and get her pregnant are the biggest problem in our community. You see what I'm saying? Because I got to tell you, back home in Africa, right? If a woman has a child, she's a damaged goods. Men will not go for her for anything. She is sidelined, not respected in the community. She is shamed. Because of that shame, she will do anything to close her legs because she knows the consequences of opening her legs. They don't even make provision for her. You see, because women choose who have sex with them, but they can't choose who marry them. So what we got to understand is this. Until black men in America start clapping the feathers of the black women, we cannot easily retire those women. We got to clap their feathers. I'm not saying violently clap, physically clap their feathers.
Yeah, we gotta say something. When you said clap feathers, I was like, I thought you said don't do that.
Yeah,
No,
I
we
was
have
like
to clap
confused.
it. We have
I
to
was like,
break
where
these
we
feathers.
going with this?
We have to
Clip,
break it. The
clip.
reason why
Oh,
we
okay,
have
clip their feathers. Okay,
the
got it.
reason why we have to, you know, if
Clap
you say
cheeks,
clip their
clip
feathers,
feathers. Got it. Clip
good.
feathers.
We have to clip their feathers. If you put it that way, we have to clip their feathers. The reason why we have to do this is because the black woman understands that anything that happens between she and the black man, she will get a white man to interfere for her.
Ooh.
But a white man can only do it so much because guess what? 90% of every race marry themselves.
Yep.
So with that being said, we have to understand that as men, we have to shame our women for bad behavior. We have to speak out and shame them for bad behavior. We have to speak it and speak it loud. We have to go against it. We have to not tolerate it. Even if it's our own sister, we have to make her feel really bad for what she's done.
Yep.
Brother
And if
Enike, can I
because
ask you a question
I'm coming,
when you're
I'm coming real
done?
quick. I'm coming real quick.
I
Yeah,
got a question when
and
you're done.
no problem. And another thing to do is that the way to send our sisters that warning is by making those their friends that got pregnant to be shamed. So if your sister's friend got pregnant, talk bad about it. Say something nasty about it. If she's trying to defend her, look her into her eyes and tell her that she's going to be totally disregarded in this family if she take that steps. But when you have a single mother or your sister's friend getting pregnant and they come to you and you allow that, you tolerate that, your sister is going to be next.
Yep.
But
Okay.
if you totally go against it,
Yep. If your homegirl
and
at
your
home,
father, yeah, if your homegirl gets pregnant,
you
okay,
an
guess what?
honorary hoe.
I have a homegirl that got pregnant, right?
I got a question also.
I have a homegirl that got pregnant. You know what she did? She called me and said, "Hey, Alex, I'm pregnant." I'm like, pregnant? She's like, yeah. She thought I was going to celebrate it. My reaction led her to delete it, to block me on Facebook. I'm telling you. She blocked me on Facebook.
Yep.
And I told her, even up to today, I tell her that it's not that I hate your son, but I hate the way you went about having your son.
Hey, that's facts.
You
Man.
should have waited. And the reason why you can't get a man is because of your attitude. You could. This is a very beautiful girl. You could have gotten a man any day, anytime, but you couldn't because of you have a very nasty attitude. You can't keep a man. Okay, Smitty, go ahead with your question.
Respect. Real quick. So what I want to know is, so over here, of course, we have something in America on the West called hitting the wall. So over where
It's
you're from,
everywhere.
and
It's everywhere.
yeah, no,
I was
so
like, they
right.
hit the wall everywhere.
Yeah. So I'm
Can't
getting
stop
to it. So how you said earlier, women are women everywhere, around the world, which I do agree with, and I have advocated that as well. Women are women no matter where you go. But what is exactly in your country or where you're from in Africa? Like, all right, let me get to it. A woman who's 40 years old in your country, no kids, never been married, is she still desirable by most men where you're from?
She's a damaged goods.
Really?
Yes. You know
Okay. All
why?
right.
I'll
Okay.
tell you why.
Please
A
do.
woman that has a child is as damaged as a woman that is 28 years old without kids or husband. Without a husband and kids. It's the
Right.
same thing. That's how we classify both of them.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Thank you.
Let
That's
me
all.
let me say it how my
I
dad told
digress.
it
My
to me.
mic is muted.
Let me tell you how my dad told it to me, because obviously I was raised here and it was
Uh-huh.
so common here. My dad basically told me, and essentially, that's another man's wife, bro. That's another man's
Hmm.
woman. Don't matter if she married or not. That is an entire life situation that happened outside of you. A man that gets to have contact with your woman unsanctioned. You have no say so in the matter.
You don't.
You have
You
no,
don't.
whether she can contact, he could call her late night, pretend he talking about the children, and all he had to say one time was, "Do you want that for yourself?" I never had to ask the question about that shit again, ever.
Okay,
Ever.
so
The mother of my child, her husband, has absolutely zero say so when I want to call over there and inquire about my child, who we
Mhm.
had first. So you're absolutely right. And I think brothers need to think about that when you go for women who already have children. You need to ask you need to ask two questions. Does he have life in prison, or is he already deceased? If he's not one of them two, you better believe at some point y'all going to cross paths. And if you're ready for that, be ready for that. But don't get the whining and crying and coming out to the front door talking about some, this is my family now.
okay,
I'm
I got
sorry,
a
I'm
Always
not,
say this.
nah, bruh,
Always say
because
I'm,
this.
mine is in
Go
that
ahead.
house.
Go
I
ahead,
got a
AP. Then
quick
we got to get
question, real quick.
some final
And
thoughts.
this can go for both of you guys, Trigger and Ikane. Do you guys also shame the men that are just randomly busting down chicks?
So let me go first. Let me go first. I have just now come to the realization that in the community where we come from, especially, you don't have to. The men that are involved in this stuff in America, even in America where this stuff is rampant, it's still a small percentage of men. So in those places where the large majority, over 90 something percent of people come from two-parent households, it's never really the man. You see what I'm saying? It's like no group of men that can it's no large group of men that facilitate that behavior. Because think about it, when from over there, if a woman is left alone with a child, that means the man she chose won't shit. He's already not around. He's already excommunicated, because what will happen in those type of cultures, when a man impregnates a woman, they marry quick, because let me just be honest. If I did that, the reason why I had to wrap it up and be careful when I was young, because if I impregnated a woman and I went to my dad and said, yeah, I'm about to have oh, well, guess what? That's my wife then. That's the woman I'm marrying, because that child now has our name. That's how it works over there. So if a woman messed around with a dude that was going to leave her alone, like not claim her, essentially it's her fault. It's her fault. That's not how we get down out there at all. Who
Okay.
was responsible?
Who's
Like,
next?
what
Who's
family
next?
did this man come
No,
from?
no, he has a question for me, so I'm going to answer that question real quick. Okay, guess what? In Africa, it's as consequential for a man as it is for a woman. As consequential for a woman as it is for a man. There is also something I'm going to add to what Trigger Mike just said. In Africa, this is how it goes, especially in our culture. If you as a man impregnate a woman, yes, Trigger Mike is right. That's your wife automatically. If you don't take that girl as a wife and she has a son for you, that son can bring that woman home as soon as he turns 15. So you like it or not, you're going to be married to that woman in 15 years.
Yeah.
Then, secondly, another thing again is this. When you impregnate a woman in Africa, you are termed a damaged goods as a man. You cannot marry a girl that doesn't have a child
Children.
under the
Yeah.
age of 25 years old. You
That's true.
cannot. You're disqualified. You can only marry a baby mama. So you cannot get another girl pregnant and then go and marry another girl that doesn't have a child. No, you've closed that gate.
Yeah.
So that is why men do not get women. In fact, the consequence it goes on both sides. That is why men do not get women pregnant. So it's actually much harder for a man than for a woman. The woman is that you can only marry a man 20 years and older than you. That's the consequence for a woman. When she wants to marry, she can only qualify to marry a man that has kids or a widower. Or a
So
man
AP, so
that wants
AP.
to add more women
No,
to
I go
his.
next. I want to
Actually,
go
I
next.
called before you did. I called
And
before these two
let me
No,
gentlemen.
just
how do
well
you go?
the
Because I
last
called before.
part of that is that I guess to sum it up is that honor demands honor. If you have an honorable family, you must marry an honorable woman. Once you dishonor yourself, man or woman, you only get what you can get. It's you cannot demand honor anymore. You can't say no. I want a woman that ain't got no like you can't do that. So that I think that's the best way to sum it up. Go ahead, Mr. Rich. Then we gotta close it out.
Actually, I
All
wanted
right.
to
So
ask you.
listen. I like this topic, but in America, there's also shame for a man. I don't care how much of a Pookie or Ray Ray you are. If your name gets put on that certificate, you're under 21 years of child support with threat of jail, with threat of jail time. So it's not like you get away scot free. But let's just look at the woman. It's her body, her choice. The woman has to protect her womb. I don't
Yeah.
care what the man wants. Men will take sex from a woman any way she gives it. And so you can't put that on a man. If she doesn't want him to enter her, it's her choice because in every 50 states, on the state level and the federal level, if he sticks his thing in without her choice, he's doing the SA. So everybody keeps giving women a pass. Then we tell them that they're the gatekeepers of sex, but we don't want to give them the responsibility and authority over that. Every woman who gets pregnant is her fault. Because if she didn't want to have unprotected sex, she wouldn't. And that's it. And if a guy, if he does anything other than her final consent, then we know what that's called. So those are the exceptions. Those are not the rule.
So
So
we're just weak.
no, brother. Every raw dog, every woman who's raw dog is her consent.
So men
Period.
are weak, is what you're saying. If
We are
Yes,
we. John the Baptist,
yes,
go ahead. I gotta get out of here. So we're
I
gonna let
don't
yes,
John
see
the
that,
brother,
Baptist
but
go ahead.
okay.
yes.
Go ahead, get the last word, John the Baptist.
So basically, what I was trying to say was it was for men. It's safe for you if you're going to date a woman with kids. Before you even date that woman with kids, talk to the husband or the baby daddy first. And if you don't start doing this, it's to do this to protect you from a lifelong heartache and pain. If a woman has a child, before you get serious with this woman, make sure you talk to the father of that baby to find out if this is a man that you can work with. Because, like that gentleman said, for the rest of your life, as long as you deal with this woman, you'll be dealing with that man. You need to
No
make sure
doubt.
that you can work with him.
That's part of it.
Second of all, AP, you're not about the same. I'm thinking I may be a little bit older than you, but we came with some of your talking point. It's like what I grew up in. Like, do we not hold the men accountable too? If we pay attention to, I can tell that I think when you said you grew up in a single parent home, I did too. The question you just asked let me know that you came from a single parent home for sure. Because some of the things I used to always ask myself as a man too, do we not hold men accountable? What I've learned since my 48 years of living that yes, America automatically holds men accountable because if a man touches a woman, it's SA, goes to jail if without her permission. If a man has a child with a woman, he's automatically put on child support. So a man is always held accountable for his actions. No, it's you very seldom. I won't put a percentage on it, but you very seldom see men who are not held accountable for their actions in America. Most men are held accountable for their actions. So we have to learn that as men, stop listening to this feminist talking point and understand when you're speaking feminist talking points, men are held accountable. They're ridiculed, they're talked about, they're put in prison, they're put in jail for child. Whatever we do we're held accountable for
All right.
So I don't want to go back and forth because I know Mike is trying to get up out, but it's not necessarily that I don't believe that men are held accountable. I didn't say that, but what I do believe is if you as a man are going to go ahead and poke something down unprotected,
it.
you already
He
you
will be
already know
held
the
accountable.
consequence.
He will
You
be held
already know.
accountable too.
Wait. You already know the consequences. But number one, if you're going to do that, have the money to fight for your kid. That's the number one thing. And if you have set aside, or if you have the money or the resources to fight for your kid, then you can actually help determine some of that outcome. But if you don't, like, you should be held
Well,
accountable
y'all
because you're
about to
being an
start a
idiot
bunch of
with your
straw
with your,
conversations.
Yeah, he got to go. He got to go.
Y'all
He
about
got
Yeah,
to
he
go.
gotta go.
oh
listen. The
We
teacher
just
is not.
spoke
It's
about
the
this
last 2
one
weeks
on
of
a
school.
long
She's not about to.
conversation.
Yeah.
yeah, it
We'll
is a
continue
long
this tomorrow.
Let's
conversation.
All right.
let's
All right.
let's do
Continue
let's
tomorrow.
do final thoughts.
No, we
Oh,
can't even do final
oh,
thoughts.
okay,
I gotta
okay,
get out of
okay,
here.
okay.
Well,
Hey, I
tomorrow. We'll come
appreciate
back
y'all.
tomorrow.
Y'all
Yeah.
made this discussion today. I want to appreciate. Thank y'all for coming through. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Hey, y'all heard some good stuff today. Hey, my bad. No play. Come back tomorrow. We got you. All right, my man. Y'all heard it straight up. Hey, this was a great one, man. This was a great one. But bottom line is, yes, it is not your job to buy your mama a house. A few more notes on that particular statement. Houses are primary residences or investment properties. That's it. A house cannot be a liability. It is one of the biggest, most draining and unpredictable liabilities you will take on. This is my first home. It's less than 3 years old, and I've had to fix stuff in it. All right. So no, you don't want these liabilities, because if you're going to buy a house for your mom, especially how big baller people like to do, let me get my mom a 3,000 square foot house. That's going to cost upwards of $600 a month to heat and cool. You're probably going to be better off financing it. Even if you pay it off outright, you still have to pay property taxes on it for the purchase price. In Texas, let's say, we have the highest property taxes in the nation. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. It's a liability. Your mother, bottom line, should find a way to live with you. Find a way to live with you. And the ultimate reason for what we're saying is that your father should be the one taking care of your mother and have acquired assets, or at least left a home you can sell to take care of the lady. All right. It's not your responsibility as children to take care of your parents. I'm actually going to do an extension video on this because a lot of ladies seem to be making videos because they're feeling like they're iced out of some deal. Ma'am, if you cannot live in peace with your son and his wife and get the hell out of the way and realize you're second to that woman, you might as well go live on the street, because that's not how this is going down. My wife, numero uno, priority over here, then my daughter. Y'all heard it first from Trigger Mike. This was a great topic. It's not your job to buy your mama a home. We're going to be back tomorrow with another fire topic. Check out, hit the like button down there. Let's get over 200 likes right now. Hit the like button. Go over to the Lapeef Experience channel. Subscribe there as well. Subscribe and hit the like button on this. I'm out. Trigger Mike. See y'all tomorrow.